Welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig, and this is where MAGA comes to talk. And we got a lot to talk about today because the appeals court ruled that Alligator Alcatraz is staying open. And this is such a great victory on so many levels, isn't it? It really, truly is. Welcome. This is the early show. We are here live every day of the week. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. This, without question, is where MAGA comes to talk. And if you want to call in, the number to call in toll-free is pinned in the live chat. You know, the country for decades, really since the 50s, but it's gotten worse from Obama on. But for over half a century, there has been this land invasion of the United States coming in from the southern border. They're invading us with drugs, and they've been invading us with people. And of course, they ramped it up a lot during Obama, then they ramped it up again during the Autopen administration of Joe Biden. And the border is shut down, which is how it's supposed to be, like all the other countries of the world. Countries are separated by borders. I mean, my goodness. Liberals believe that the United States should be this country that has the border is only a line on the map, that it doesn't really exist, that anybody should be able to come here. And they over the last, this started during Obama. During the Obama years, they changed the definition of what an American is, right? Like, I'm an American. I was born in the United States. I'm an American. In fact, I'm a Native American. I'm native to the United States. I'm a Native American. And what the Democrats changed the definition of American to was anyone who's from the Americas, which could be Canada, Mexico, Central South America, or even the Caribbean. No matter where in the Americas you were from, the liberals had decided you are an American. So you have a right to be in the United States of America. It's bizarre, the logic, and the Alligator Alcatraz, the appeals court has ruled that it's going to stay open. Now, when Alligator Alcatraz was ordered shut down by that leftist judge, I think, was it a Biden judge that made that ridiculous ruling to shut down Alligator Alcatraz? And there's other Alligator Alcatraz like places that have sprung up in other states. We got another one up in North Florida now, and other states have their versions of it. And there's a little competition on naming them. I think Alligator Alcatraz is going to be the best name of all, not just because it's first. It's just, you got the two A's. It's just a great name. Just a great name, Alligator Alcatraz. I love it. I saw yesterday President Trump was telling people what to do if you're being chased by an alligator, how to zigzag and everything else. Yeah, which is pretty good. But I knew when that leftist judge ordered the closure of Alligator Alcatraz, I knew that it was going to stay open. I knew. I told you guys. Don't worry about it. It'll get to, if it has to go to the Supreme Court, it will remain open. The facility is a beautiful facility. This judge thought she had found a loophole. The liberal activist lunatic judge that ordered it closed down used an environmental law because the Florida Everglades is a protected sanctuary and, it's a national park and all this stuff. But the facility already existed. They just put these very nice, fully air-conditioned tents and facilities on top of the existing concrete that was there at this facility and has been there, I don't know, for decades. All right. So that didn't hold up. I knew it wouldn't. But they thought they had a cute thing on that. And I love all these people that are the environmental lunatics who are talking about the pristine Everglades. First off, the Everglades is some of the most wasted space. It should all be reclaimed. All right. They should be drilling for oil out there. The Everglades is filled with oil. If Florida drilled for oil in the we do have oil wells in the Everglades that have been there for 100 years. But if they were to open up the Everglades as they should to drill, oh man, Florida, everybody in Florida, not only would we not be paying property taxes, we'd be getting a check every year from the government of the state of Florida for our share in the oil revenues. I mean, we've got more oil than Alaska out there. And it's easier to get to than in that frozen tundra of Alaska. But these environmental whack jobs that are always talking about the environment, they go out there by the hundreds, maybe even the thousands, on this tiny little 2-lane highway where there's no parking lot, and they're destroying the Everglades environment every time they go out there, parking in the Everglades grass and everything, and stomping on it and destroying it, and their carbon footprints that they think that are so vitally important to eliminate. They've done more environmental damage, the environmentalists, to the Everglades than Alligator Alcatraz, I promise you. Yeah. But this is a big win for the country. You look at what the Democrats are doing, right? You look at what the Democrats are doing. They came out in favor of crime when President Trump started to rid D.C. of crime. Now, after President Trump blew up that drug trafficker boat, they're coming out in favor of the cartel drug traffickers now. They've been defending illegals that are in this country for who knows how long. I mean, what are the Democrats supporting that is not unlawful, that is not criminal? Everything they're supporting right now, the Democrats, in one way, shape, form, or another, and very directly, they're supporting criminals, whether it's illegals, drug traffickers, or the various crimes that President Trump has been cracking down on in Washington, D.C. The entire Democrat Party platform is a platform of supporting crime. Now, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. It is Friday. I'm here live every morning. We'll be on the radio in about a half an hour, but this is the pre-show. And like with the radio show, I take live calls. If you want to call in, the number is pinned in the live chat, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. When you call in early or late, when I sign off the radio or before I'm on the radio, it's a little more laid back, especially with the language, because I don't have to worry about the dump button. And today's Friday, which is, it's open phones on Friday. We call it Open MAGA Mic Friday. Monday through Thursday, you got to talk about whatever topic I'm bringing up. But on Friday's show, you can call in about any and everything on your mind. It's open phones, Open MAGA Mic Friday. The show prep is up to you all on Friday's show. So, I'm going to open with Alligator Alcatraz. I've got a lot of other things that I'm going to cover on the program today. But you can call in about anything on your mind. Now, let me pull up this Alligator Alcatraz story because it's very good. I'm a little behind on my coffee. I mean, I'm telling you, I can feel it. I got to get this coffee down. I really don't like coffee. That's why I get cream in it, but I need it. It's my drug, unfortunately. I wish I could kick it. I need to go to like a 28-day coffee rehab, but I can't be off the air for a month, right? Would you guys like that? So let me go through this. This is the story in CBS News. A federal appeals court yesterday, Thursday, halted a lower court ruling that required Florida and the Trump administration to dismantle parts of Alligator Alcatraz, a controversial immigration detention site in the Everglades. Is it really controversial? Is Alligator Alcatraz really controversial? President Trump has, I'm going to go over this later, there's a new poll, over 50% approval rating right now, in large response to his crackdown on crime. He won all the battleground states, won the popular vote. So the things that he's doing are not controversial, they're quite popular. In a 2-to-1 ruling by a panel of judges, so we got, 2 judges sided with him, the 2-to-1 ruling by a panel of judges on the U.S. Court of Appeals for the 11th Circuit will effectively allow Alligator Alcatraz to stay open while a lawsuit challenging the detention center on environmental grounds works its way through the court system. The Department of Homeland Security began moving detainees out of the site late last month, but the state has said Alligator Alcatraz will ramp back up if the lower court ruling is overturned. And it was overturned yesterday, so they're going to ramp it back up. Last month, U.S. District Judge Kathleen Williams, I think Kathleen Williams is a Biden appointee, maybe Obama. Well, is there a difference, really? Ordered the state of Florida and the federal government to immediately stop expanding the facility and to start dismantling its fences. Really? Should you be dismantling the fences while there's like inmates there? Start dismantling the fences, the lights, and the generators within 60 days. So you want the detainees to be in the dark and without power? You know, there's a county jail not too far from Alligator Alcatraz. It's called the Chrome Detention Center. And that is legendary for being such a god-awful jail. It's like a dungeon. It's like the worst in Florida. Certainly out of all the jails in South Florida, it's the worst. Okay? And those, let me tell you, those guys at the Chrome Detention Center, they would give a lot to be able to go to Alligator Alcatraz with its great air conditioning, clean facilities, great food. The judge sided with environmental groups and a Native American tribe who argued that Alligator Alcatraz, located in the middle of the sensitive Florida Everglades, should have been subject to federal environmental reviews. Oh, hold on a second. I got to turn the phones on. Hold on. Okay, there. The phone is on now. Okay. Now, this is ridiculous, okay? It says here, well, let me go back. The judge sided with environmental groups and a Native American tribe. What Native American tribe? The Miccosukee? The Miccosukee, if you've seen my YouTube video of when I went to Alligator Alcatraz, okay? When you get to the road to turn right, the landmark is the Miccosukee Indian Tribe Hotel and Casino, which is a big building in the Everglades, down the street, by the way, from Alligator Alcatraz. So, and they're not even indigenous to the state of Florida, the Miccosukee. So they got one person who claims to be an Indian. They're representing the tribe now. I don't think so. Let's see here. On Thursday, the panel of appellate court judges froze that ruling. The court concluded that the state and federal officials are likely to succeed in showing that the site isn't subject to the National Environmental Policy Act because it is a state-operated facility, and Florida has not yet received any federal reimbursement for the cost of running the site. The majority ruling was written by, and it gives the judges' names, both of whom are women. Wow, two lady judges. Two lady judges sided with what was right about Alligator Alcatraz, both of whom were nominated in President Trump's first term. So we got two lady Trump judges. Isn't that awesome? The majority ruling was written by these two judges who were nominated by President Trump in his first term. The judge that dissented is Adalberto Jordan, an Obama nominee. Oh, okay. So we got two Trump judges who ruled in favor. An Obama judge, his opinion was against, and he lost. Homeland Security said it's a win for the American people, the rule of law, and common sense. No doubt. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Seattle.
Seattle. What's on your mind, Seattle?
I'm sorry. I can barely. Let me change this. Okay.
All right, go ahead. I can hear you fine.
Oh, perfect. Okay, yeah, I'm from Seattle. I'm 30.
Uh-huh. And
do I got to stay on topic about Alcatraz, or is
well, I don't know. What's your first name?
Jason.
Jason. Okay, Jason is from Seattle, and he's 30. No, it's open MAGA Mike Friday, and on Friday it's open phones within reason. So what's on your mind? Well, hold on, let me answer these other phone lines. So go ahead. What's on your mind?
Okay, I can hear you a lot better now. I don't know what you changed, but so I voted for Trump both times. I did not vote for him in 2016, but I did in 2020 and again in this election.
Good.
I was not a supporter until he was initially elected the first time, so I didn't vote for him. But as his first term went on, COVID made me feel really dejected about him, how he handled the COVID situation. And I do feel like a very disenfranchised MAGA conservative. I do not feel nearly as vigorous about Trump anymore, and there are a couple reasons why I really don't trust him anymore. And so this isn't, I'm not here to criticize you or your show or the fact that you support Trump. I have a lot of conservatives in my family, and I have a great deal of respect for them and their faith in his ability to get things done. But my real problem is with what I'm seeing recently, with the mass deportation numbers not being high enough, the 600,000 Chinese students that he's promising, this bombing of this offshore thing in Venezuela, how he's handling Ukraine, Russia. I mean, it's just like,
all right. Well, let's stop on some of those points and talk about them. Okay, you mentioned you gave a few examples. The White House released a statement about this a couple of days ago. The 600 Chinese students visas, that's not true. That was totally fake news.
The 600,000?
Correct. Totally fake news.
Okay. But I believe that the announcement was from Trump himself.
No, it wasn't. Totally fake news. What they've done is Chinese students who already have visas, they're going to allow them to remain. I don't know where the
I don't even know.
That's true.
I don't even know.
The White House.
I don't even know if they're currently all 600,000 Chinese students.
No, not 600,000. There's three. Actually, the number is high. I'm not saying this is good, but there's 300,000 Chinese students with student visas in the country. 300,000, and they're allowing them to remain to finish school. And what the media did is, because the new school year will be starting soon, they counted them twice and went from 300 to 600,000. But they're not new visas. They're current students who are in the middle of their education, and they extended them for the next school year. That's what the truth is. The other one, White House released that statement 2 or 3 days ago. You guys can look that up. The other one, I was a little confused that they targeted that thing in Venezuela. What was it you said? What are you referencing?
The recent bombing of this, I believe it was an offshore. What was it? A boat or a rig near Venezuela? There
was a drug trafficking boat from the Trinidad de Agua, drug cartel gang, and it was in international waters. There were 11 of them on there. They were transporting drugs into the United States. And on one of President Trump's first actions as president, when he was signing executive orders, was to declare that drug trafficking gang an international terrorist organization. So you basically had ISIS or Al-Qaeda in a speedboat in international waters heading towards the United States with drugs, and they took it out. You're against that?
I'm hearing you. If I may interject briefly, because of the recency of this change from announcing that drug cartels will be treated as terrorists, it begs the question of, did we actually have the authority to bomb this?
Yeah.
This boat?
Well, he declared he declared specific gangs and cartels as terrorists. This was one of them, the Trinidad de Agua, however you pronounce the name. Trinidad de Agua. They're a terrorist organization. International terrorists. It's like you had Al-Qaeda or ISIS heading towards the United States with a boatload of poison.
Right, but now there's this announcement. There's this announcement that we will possibly be moving troops into Mexico to hold positions against them.
Sounds good to me. The country's been under attack. We've been sending troops all over the world, right? Since 1918. And it's never stopped. And our own country, I mean, how many Americans are dead because of the drug trafficking coming up through Latin America, and it's about time. Oh, sorry about that. It's about time that we had a president that took the war on drugs literally. You know, President Bush 41, the first President Bush, he invaded Panama and took out Noriega because he was a big drug trafficker. So, you know, and people didn't complain, and he was put on trial in Miami many years later. You with me? Yeah.
Go
ahead. So I don't understand what your problem is. I mean, how many Americans have been killed from the drugs?
My problem is that I do not foresee Mexico cooperating whatsoever in this effort, and I do not think that. Well, so what? I mean, I voted for Trump in 2020 on his No More Forever Wars. I was a single issue voter. I didn't care about anything else. I liked the fact that in 2016 he was participating with Kim Jong-un, and he was he crossed the demilitarized zone.
Yep.
He was a No More Wars president. He had a plan to pull us out of Afghanistan. He had a plan to pull us out of Syria and Libya.
Yeah.
And of course, there was after Biden got elected, there were those announcements that his generals in Syria were lying to him, and that they actually were not participating fully.
Well,
so I was upset about that.
Let me tell you something. This is just for the audience out there. I'm enjoying your call because we disagree very much, but you're reasonable and rational in discussions. And for those of you that call in with perversions and stuff all the time, when you're taking opposition, this is how you do it, like this guy is. See, what President Trump ran on was no more foreign wars. Our own country has been under attack through our southern border for both of our entire lives. And so far as Mexico in President Trump's first term and in this one has been very cooperative. Now, the Mexican government and the lady Presidente down there may voice opposition, but she's afraid they'll find her head in a duffel bag because of the cartels down there. So, you know, I think the Mexican people will be very cooperative with us because they're being held hostage in a narco state.
Yeah, it's almost like there is no centralized government control. There's all these tribalistic drug conflicts located within the country.
Yeah,
My real problem with this drug conflict is that the vast majority of the fentanyl, because you say what you want about cocaine, heroin, marijuana, whatever, the fentanyl is the biggest issue. It kills people the most. Mm-hmm. It is the easiest to kill people with. You know, a teaspoon of fentanyl can kill 1,000 people. So the vast majority of the fentanyl is produced in China. And I think that if the market continues this way, the void of the middleman, Venezuela or Transgender, whoever the people are shipping it, they're the middleman. And if the market, if China continues to supply the fentanyl, a new middleman will fill the void and will try to ship it in the United States.
This is what you're talking. You're right. Okay, the fentanyl is manufactured at pharmaceutical facilities in China, and it's taken by ship to Mexico or some other Latin American country, and then they give it to the cartels and they bring it here. President Trump has virtually shut down the entire southern border, so they can't walk or drive it across like they could 7-8 months ago. And now he's shutting down the sea passage.
Right, because most of the fentanyl that gets into the United States is by sea. Most of the confiscations are at sea anyway.
Yeah, well, that's going to stop.
Yeah, I hear that, but the problem is the supply, and the supply is.
Well, we can't go and bomb China.
No, we can't.
They're a nuclear power, and it would be the Third World War.
Right, but when we're talking about justifying these sorts of, it's weird to say international because they're so close. And I understand this is different from a forever war in a completely different hemisphere. It's such as like in the Middle East. This is very close to home, right on our border. But as far as these drug conflicts, what really irks me is that there doesn't really seem to be anything other than capitulation with China on Trump's part.
No, I'll tell you what. I'll give you an example. President Trump, of what Trump could very well be doing. Okay, now we don't know that what I'm about to say is true, but I think it's a good theory. President Trump is most known for being a deal maker, the art of the deal, right? And at the beginning of the call, we were talking about the 300,000 Chinese student visas. The reason my guess is President Trump doesn't do anything for nothing from another country. Allowing those 300,000 Chinese students to not have their education interrupted and continue for another year in college with their student visas, he made a deal with China about something. And it very well could have been stopping the fentanyl transportation to South America.
Yeah, I really.
That'd be a good deal to me.
I'm skeptical. I mean, we may not, we may have hit an impasse about this, but I'm just trying to let you know I'm skeptical about solutions regarding this exact issue. For as long as the supply continues to flow, I think that a middleman will fill the void.
Not if they're getting blown out of the water. Could you imagine what the drug traffickers are going to have to do to get people to take boats filled with drugs to the United States now is going to be pretty drastic. They're going to have to start kidnapping family members to get them. It's a high risk thing to do now because you could be blown. Those guys, they got hit so quick they didn't even know they were hit. They were killed instantly. And believe me, the guys that everybody, yeah.
There's an ebb and flow because as the middleman decreases and the available supply that's actually making it to the United States decreases, the profit incentive increases and it becomes more lucrative because the market isn't saturated anymore.
If you can make it here. I mean, if you're going to take a speedboat from anywhere in Latin America filled with drugs to the United States, you're seriously risking your life. You weren't before, but now you are. And hey, listen, welcome to the show. We had a great conversation. Call me again sometime. All right, you're a very good caller.
Sure, thank you for everything.
All right, good. It's like, isn't that nice to hear some disagreement that is somewhat rational? All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
You're seriously in your life. You weren't.
You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from California, or you put it as California earlier, didn't you?
No, somebody in the chat room said they were in California.
Oh, well.
And I read their message in the chat, but I did not on my own call it that. But but it's an accurate label with Gavin Newsom as your governor. Yeah, sure.
Oh, perhaps. Do you mind if I call you Brian? Is that all right?
Brian's my name.
Okay. My stepdad's name is actually Brian. That's funny. I wanted to ask you just a couple of questions, and I can get out of your hair. I'm just curious on some of these things. I wanted to know some more foundational kind of stuff, as I'm curious to know. I'll start with like a very basic, like at the heart question I got. What does supporting Trump mean to you personally? That you can think of in your mind when you think of supporting Trump? What's the first thing that comes to you personally?
It sounds like I'm on a therapist couch. But making America great again, making America great again means a lot of things. But when it comes to Trump, putting America and Americans first.
Mm-hmm. So that's like the most personal thing to you is America first.
Yeah, I know. What do you want to do? Ask me about Israel now? America first.
No.
Okay, all right. Go on. I mean, I guess I'll go through a little bit of your California therapy.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you'll get a kick out of the fact that I'm studying to become one.
Oh my goodness. From my experience, most people that become psychologists are people that have mental issues, and they spend a lot of their life in therapy, so they become a therapist. That not necessarily you, but I've known a lot of therapists in my life.
No, it's okay. Do you think it's something to be ashamed of to seek out mental health?
No, I've been in therapy.
I've
gone to therapy. Sure. No, I'm not against it.
Did you have a good or a bad experience with that?
Great experience, yeah. I'm not anti-therapy.
Oh, sure.
If you have a problem.
So you enjoyed the therapeutic experience, actually?
Enjoy? I don't know. I didn't enjoy or dislike it. It just happened.
It wasn't negative in particular?
No.
What would you say that you found to be a positive association with it?
I'm not going to tell you what it was about because that's private. It's not that it's a big deal or anything, but I did I went through, what was it called? I got hypnotized by the therapist. Hypnotherapy. I had hypnotherapy where they hypnotized me, and I didn't believe that hypnosis was real until I was hypnotized. So I had hypnotherapy. Yeah, and it was a positive experience.
Well, I'm glad to hear that was a positive experience for you. Do you think?
Yeah, I mean, the thing about being hypnotized, because I thought hypnosis was fake, and then I realized I was when you're hypnotized, you're aware, but you're still hypnotized. It's very hard to explain. It's one of those things you got to experience.
I still have yet to be hypnotized, so I'll put it on my to-do list.
Yeah, hypnotherapy. Yes. All right. Yeah. So that's 2 questions from the student therapist.
Do I have a limited questions here?
I don't know. It's limited by how interesting you are.
Am I uninteresting?
It's going downhill. The last caller was spectacular, but maybe you got something better. You're still on.
All right. Well, I wanted to ask you some more foundational questions to get to the heart of maybe why you support Trump. But
go. I'd love to talk about Trump. I'd rather talk about Trump than me.
Sure, I can do that. You were mentioning something about Alligator Alcatraz earlier, right?
Yes.
That's what the whole live stream is about. I guess I'm curious on what comes up for you emotionally when you hear about something related to Alligator Alcatraz. What kind of imagery?
I have listen. I don't have an emotional reaction to it, but since you ask, I mean, if I had to pick an emotion, it makes me feel good that we have a president who's repelling these illegal foreign invaders from our nation that are an incredible drain on our country.
Right. So it sounds like you see it as it's a statement of strength, right?
Well, it is Alligator Alcatraz is a great many things. Yeah, it is a show of American strength. That's it in part. But, our country has been invaded by tens of millions of illegals. Many of them rape, murder, and commit other violent crimes against our citizens. The ones that aren't committing crimes on other than being in the country illegally, which is in itself a crime, they're a drain on our system. They get the Section 8 housing, they get the EBT, they fraudulently were getting Medicaid. They use emergency rooms as free clinics. You're in California. Southern California freeway traffic, I understand, has cleared up quite a bit since the deportations began. They clog up our roads. They take jobs from Americans. They've driven down. If you look in the news, they kill illegals are killing people all the time, like that illegal truck driver from India who killed some Floridians a couple weeks ago. I mean, it's a. Yeah,
do you think if you heard about any kind of tragic mistreatment of the people in Alligator Alcatraz, would you feel sympathy for them?
It's not true.
Well, I'm just as purely a hypothetical.
No, I'm opposed to torturing the detainees, but that's not happening. In fact, I've been, if you look on this channel, I visited Alligator Alcatraz when it was right before it first opened. I went down there and checked it out. It's out in the middle of nowhere. I drove there from my house. But there's no mistreatment. In fact, it's one of the nicest detention facilities in the entire state of Florida. And most comfortable. There's no mistreatment.
Sure. Can I ask you another, one more foundational question? Then I'll have one last question. I'll get out of here.
We'll get the grand finale question after this question. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But we got to speed it up because we're running short on time till we switch over to the radio station. And
he'll be my last question now. I'll
okay.
let you get on.
Go ahead.
So, how do you feel about men going into women's private spaces.
We mean like a ladies' room? I think that men should not be going into the ladies' room.
It could be a ladies' room. It could be a dressing room.
No, that's called perversion. When I was growing up, if I went into the ladies' room or the ladies' dressing room at Target or something, they'd call the police. I'd get arrested for being a peeping Tom.
So you think that's wrong, right? Like,
yeah, ladies' room and the ladies' dressing room is for ladies. That's correct.
Right.
And by the way, E. Jean Carroll agrees because she claimed that Trump went in the ladies' dressing room, and that's wrong, she said. Even though it didn't happen.
Oh, yeah,
but, why? Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, in reference to that, Trump was on the Howard Stern show in like 2005, and he talked about, you might have already heard this clip, he talked about how he went into the ladies' dressing room, and he mentioned, you can listen to this clip if you like, just look it up, and he talks about how every girl in there is getting dressed, they got their clothes off.
No, I've heard this. I've heard this clip, but it's been a number of years, right? I think it was during Trump's first campaign. Sure. What he was talking about is he went backstage at the Miss Universe pageant when he owned the Miss Universe pageant. And I've got news for you.
Yes.
I've been backstage in the dressing room of a strip club. I was a judge in a beauty contest in Miami Beach. I went backstage where they were dressing there. I've been in the dressing room of a fashion show. So what? Yeah. These are hold on a second. These are I've been in plays and been backstage where people are changing male and female. When you're talking about something that's like a production, like a beauty contest, a stage production or something, that's not the same thing as going into the women's dressing room at Target. It's a totally different thing.
Do you think that it's a totally different thing when he says something like, quote, I sort of get away with things like that?
You're taking things out of context without even giving locational context and trying to imply something with your tone. Yeah, when you are working on any type of production, a beauty contest, a fashion show, a play, you get to go backstage. And backstage, we do our MAGA cruise every year. Our 10th annual MAGA cruise is in March. A couple of cruises ago, I got to go into the ladies' dressing room backstage for the plays and performances, the Broadway shows they put on the cruise ship. What does that mean? I got to, not many people get to do that. I got to do it. So what does that mean? Just because you're in the lady.
So you think this is an exception for a man to be able to go into a women's?
When there's a production, yes. When there's a production, yes. It's totally different. It's like a nude beach kind of situation. Nobody cares. It's not the same thing.
And even the comment he made on how
because not everybody gets to go back.
Specifically mentions how great the women are.
Because not everybody gets to do that. That's a rare thing to go back. Listen, I got to run, but I appreciate the call. All right. Oh my goodness. Oh, boy. And if you're on hold, hang in there. We're getting to the part where the radio station will be switching over to the radio station. So I don't take any calls during that switch, just in case they mistakenly click us on. Hold on. I got to grab some copy. Okay, I got to get some commercial copy there. Here it is. Okay, some new commercial copy for something. Welcome. If you're new to the channel, make sure that you subscribe, all right? And those of you that are already subscribed, please like the video and share the stream on all your socials. Now, those of you, I've got 2 live streams going. If you see the green wall behind me, okay, if you see the green wall behind me, you can obviously see and hear me, and you'll hear the callers as they call in on the show. But if you want to see the effects of the green screen, hear the audio sound bites, see the videos, see the articles and such that I cover, you jump over to the other stream, and you can get all the effects. But if you see the green wall, it is a green screen. Yep, it's a green screen, but without the effects. If you actually see the green, jump over to the other stream where there's also a live chat going, and you'll be able to get the effects of the green screen. And we'll be live on the radio in just a couple of minutes. I'm waiting to hear from Mike. Now, Oh, hold on a second. Let me.
I'm headed back to Delaware.
Dude, do you have a Hemi in here? What is it?
Okay. Welcome. And by the way, guys, look for me over the weekend. I'm going to be on television on Newsmax. I recorded I'm going to be on the Wendy Bell show this weekend, which I recorded yesterday, and that'll air several times, Saturday and Sunday afternoons and evenings. But I'm not going to tell you what show this one is. I'm going to be on live over the weekend too. So I'll tell you about that one after, unless you happen to catch me. But I'll be on live over the weekend as well. You can look for me. So I'm going to be on a couple of shows this weekend on Newsmax. That's why I shaved yesterday, because I was going to be on television. If I'm clean shaven, it probably will be on. It means I'm going to be on television, because I don't shave unless I have to. You know. Okay, we got a couple minutes and we'll be live. If you're on hold, hang in there. We've got a lot to cover. Now remember, it is open phones today. You can call in about any and everything that you want. And I got to tell you, the calls, we had 2 minutes and the radio station will switch us on. The calls that I took in the last couple of segments, those were spectacular calls, even the student therapist. But in particular, the guy before him was calling from, wasn't he in Seattle? Both callers took issue with me. We disagree pretty much on everything, in particular the caller before the therapy call. That's how you do it. No profanity. He was trying to make some logical arguments against Trump. We had a real discussion. That's how you do it, man. I could do that all day. Isn't that nice to hear? And maybe we'll flip him and magnetize him, red pill him. Who knows? Who knows, right? But if you want to call in, the number is pinned in the live chat. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. Okay. What is the name of that transgender? I'm going to open with on the radio playing this. What is the name of that transgendered congressperson? I forgot their name. Sarah McBride, yes. Okay, about 30 seconds. Oh yeah, Don Lemon. He committed a major liberal crime. Don Lemon. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. Wow, 49 years. Today is Friday, and you know what Friday is? Open phones. We call it Open MAGA Mike Friday. And on Open MAGA Mike Friday, you can call in about any and everything on your mind. You don't even have to reference anything that I bring up or Steve brings up when he joins us. The show prep is up to you all on Friday's show, and it's the one day a week you can do that, Monday through Thursday, even though it's a bit like herding cats. You got to call in about what we want to talk about and what we're covering. But on Friday's show, remember what Rush used to say, the great late Rush Limbaugh? He would say, we turn the show over to rank amateurs every Friday. Well, yeah. But the show prep is up to you all. You can call in today about any and everything on your mind. The number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We've got a lot to cover, including another big Trump win with the courts on Alligator Alcatraz. We're going to get to that in a minute. But Don Lemon, he got himself into some trouble. And the PC police might put the cuffs on Don Lemon. Don Lemon thinks he's a street interviewer. And he's not very good at it, Don Lemon. You know that CNN, when they fired him, they gave him $10 million? Can you imagine? Man, oh man. If you gave me $10 million when you fired me, you could fire me every day of the week for $10 million. But he's trying to make a career for himself in the new media, right? Like what I'm doing here, with everything I do. But the problem is there's no market for what Don Lemon is pushing. If you want that liberal crap, you can get that anywhere, right? But anyway, he goes up to that transgendered congressperson and McBride. And what he said to McBride, to you or me, is not that big of a deal. However, what he has done could get you arrested in the United Kingdom or in Canada, and certainly get you canceled by the liberals. So listen to this. He's in front of the Capitol building. He's on the street with a microphone, Don Lemon, and the transgendered congressperson is driving by in their that doesn't look like an EV. That looks like a gasoline-powered vehicle, and he misgenders them. Listen.
This is my car. I'm heading back to Delaware.
It is, dude. Do you have a Hemi in here? What is it?
Dude, Don Lemon just misgendered Congressperson McBride using the masculine pronoun of dude. Now, dudette would have been okay, right? Dudette would have been okay. He didn't say dudette. He said dude. All right, let's get back to it. Don Lemon misgendering the transgendered.
This is my car. I'm heading back to Delaware.
It is, dude. Do you have a Hemi in here? What is it?
This is a beautiful Chevy Equinox, American made.
You got a whole closet back there.
It's a traveling
Can we see?
office.
Can you roll this down? No. Look, she's got a whole closet.
Oh, now he's back in the. He knows he did dude. Now he's trying to cover. You already said it, Don Lemon. You already misgendered. You can't take it back.
Full of clothes. You're not living out of your car. Is this
I'm
we
not.
getting breaking news?
No.
Is this
But
an
you always
exclusive?
you always need to change your clothes.
Yes.
Dude, oh my goodness, is Don Lemon in trouble? Will the cancel mob go after Don Lemon? Will he be deplatformed? Will he no longer be invited to the parties? Because one of the greatest offenses that you can make in liberal circles in 2025 is the offense of misgendering someone by using a pronoun that is not their preferred pronouns. You cannot call a biological man, transgendered woman, a dude. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. How do you get a hold of the PC police? Does anyone know? How do you call the DC police? Don Lemon. Oh my goodness. That's going viral. And as ridiculous as it is, what he did is a big deal to the Democrats. But the big story today is Alligator Alcatraz will remain open. It went to the appellate court, a 3-judge panel. Remember this lunatic judge about a week ago or so made a ruling ordering Alligator Alcatraz to shut down. And I told you guys then, because I got some calls from some liberals, and they were all excited. Oh, Alligator Alcatraz is going to get shut down. And I said, don't worry about it. No one. And it was so funny. I saw Tom Homan on TV. He was, we'll comply with the judge's orders. And they stopped sending new illegals to Alligator Alcatraz, and they appealed it. And the 3-judge panel ruled in favor of the state of Florida and President Trump, and overruled that lower court judge. Alligator Alcatraz will remain open, and this is definitely something we should celebrate. And not only is Alligator Alcatraz remaining open, the government is going to begin shipping plane loads of new illegals to be deported to wherever they deport them to these days. But first, go to the detention center at Alligator Alcatraz here in the great state of Florida in the Everglades muck swamp. And this is a great thing. It was a 3-judge panel on the appellate court. 2 of the 3 judges ruled in favor of the government of President Trump. It's winning. And those 2 judges were both nominated by President Trump during his first term. The dissenting judge was an Obama judge. And this, I tell you, these judges aren't they important? Absolutely. This is so important. This country, has been invaded our entire lifetimes and even before by illegals from all over the world through the southern border. Really, it started, we've always, the U.S.-Mexican border has been nothing but trouble since day one, right? After we got Texas, it's always been a problem. I mean, we've had a war with them at one point. But what's been going on since the 50s is at a whole new level, and it's been a major invasion through the southern border. During the Obama regime, it ramped up, but during the autopen administration of Biden and his autopen cronies who were illegally pardoning whoever, I guess they're friends with the autopen and such, the illegals were coming here as fast as they could bring them in the largest numbers possible, and 25 million minimum, maybe even more, in the last 4 years. And President Trump has shut down the border. Not only have the deportations been happening and self-deportations as well. I was watching TV the other day, and Kristi Noem had a commercial with Kristi Noem talking about if you self-deport, they download the app if you want to self-deport, and they'll give you money and pay your way out of the country, the government. It was great. It was good. Have you seen that commercial? It's a good one. But what I was very surprised about when it comes to the deportations, there has not really been much of a protest against the deportations. There's been some lunatics talking about Alligator Alcatraz, but what I mean is I was expecting major media outrage showing the deportations happening with imagery of the trains to Auschwitz and stuff. And there really has not been that. We haven't seen mass street protest against it. And that's because President Trump's opinion on everything he does is in the mid 50% approval rating. There's a new poll out I'll get to later in the show, but the president's approval rating is at a high. President Trump's approval numbers are higher at this point in his second term than Obama's were. And he had being the first black president behind him that gives him all kinds of bumps just for that from black people. Right? So, I mean, this is everything President Trump does is what the majority of the people in this country want to be done. Now, if you're on hold, hang in there. I'm going to try, to the best of my ability, to take all of the breaks on the radio show on time today. All right? So this will be our first break. It is Open Phones, Open MAGA Mic Friday. You are welcome to call in about any and everything on your mind. You don't have to talk about anything that we bring up. The number's toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll be right back. Now, guys, if you are 65, over 65, turning 65 soon, give Chapter a call. You won't regret it. If you're already 65 or you're about to turn 65, you see what happens, right? Your mailbox gets filled with junk mail, mailers about it. You see all these commercials on TV and all this stuff. There's a lot of pressure. You want to make sure that you get the right Medicare plan and that you're not paying too much. And that's where Chapter comes in. They are the only company that works with all of the over 24,000 Medicare plans out there. That's right. They cover the entire United States. No matter where you are in the United States, they can help you. It is always free. When you call this number, you're going to get a real person. You'll get a one-on-one consultation with a real person who will answer all your questions, review your policy, and make sure you're in the right one. The average chapter client saves $1,100 a year on their Medicare. Wow, that means many are saving a lot more than that. Give them a call. The number's in the description of the video, and it's on the screen, 805-754-3033. 805-754-3033. That's 805-754-3033 for chapter. Give them a call. Okay. Great. And if you're new, make sure that you subscribe to the channel. If you're on hold, hang in there. I'm going to go to the phones when we get back. Absolutely. America first. That's right. You know, the Democrats, the things they're supporting these days are it's bad. They started openly supporting criminals when Trump started cleaning up the crime in D.C. Now they're supporting the drug cartels. It's you can't make this stuff up. You just cannot make this stuff up. Why are they supporting drug cartels? Let me know. Do you think that Don Lemon is going to have to either apologize or clarify his misgendering of Congressperson McBride, calling a transgendered woman a dude? Oh my goodness. Don Lemon. You know, he's such a narcissist. He may not mind just because, you know, a lot of people are talking about him. Welcome. Let me know in the chat how long you've been watching or listening to me. Not today, overall. Like, is today your first time finding me? 20 years, 30 years, 6 months? How long have you been watching and listening to me? Did you just find me a minute ago on YouTube recommendations? Let me know. Don Lemon. Welcome, everyone who's new. We'll be back in 1 minute. Josephine, about a month. Awesome. Welcome. Welcome to the program. Make sure you click that notification bell. 5 years. Since 2021. Beetle says, first day. Are you talking about like back in 1991, 92 when I first started on the air? 5 years, 2 years, 15 minutes. Eric Hoffman, welcome. 7 years. There's 2 openings on the board. We'll be back in about 30 seconds. It's been a while. About a year since WFTL. Holy smokes. 2015, 2001, 6 years. Well, that's awesome. Thanks, guys, for your support. All right, here we go. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. All right, it is Open MAGA Mike Friday. There's 2 openings on the board at 1-888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. All right, let's go to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Scott, and I'm calling from Kansas City.
Hey, Scott.
Yeah, what I'm going to do is throw some points that somebody else made. I'm not going to name who that person was about the boat yesterday, the attack on the boat and taking it out, and have you respond to it. I'm going to be as fair as I can. This individual said that do we really know who the individuals were in that boat? What outfit did they work for? What was their point? Did they have drugs aboard? And why were they not stopped given their due process? Was Trump not acting like Netanyahu and dropping bombs from drones?
Yeah.
And you know where I'm coming from with this. So I wanted to. You know more than I do. I figured you might be able to be a little more enlightening.
Well, what we know is what the president has told us, right? They were the Trinidad de Agua drug traffickers, and they were in international waters, and they were on a boat filled with drugs. You know, and they have been designated as other Hispanic gangs and cartels as an international terrorist organization. So that boat that they took out with that missile or whatever they took it out with, that was like ISIS or Al Qaeda in a speedboat with poison coming to the United States. I mean, so I don't understand what people's beef is with that, and that, you know, who's now they're in favor of they're out there advocating for drug traffickers now. The Democrats, it's insane.
Well, it's that thing. It's a long time. Goes back to even before 9/11, when people wanted to give the Al Qaeda people their civilian courts in New York instead of the tribunals, which just hit me.
And by the way, this drug trafficking thing, a lot of people have forgotten because it's not thought about too much. But President H.W. Bush, Bush 41, Bush 1, the Daddy Bush, whatever you want to call him.
Daddy Bush.
Okay, Daddy Bush. H.W. Bush invaded Panama because Noriega was a drug trafficker and grabbed and snatched Noriega, brought him to Miami, and he faced trial in federal court in Miami. So there's historical precedent for going to war literally against these drug traffickers.
Well, or any other incursion. Wilson sent Blackjack Pershing and others and including Patton,
that's true,
into Mexico because of the attack on New Mexico, or was that town in Columbus, New Mexico, by Pancho Villa.
That's correct. Yes, and that's right. That's right. Yeah, the forgotten incursion into Mexico. That's right. All right. Appreciate the call. Take care. Great points. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Brian.
Yeah, speak up.
From New York.
Speak up, Brian, in New York. You're too far from the phone.
Sorry about that.
Okay. We got you now.
On my hands-free device.
That's okay. We got you now.
Yeah, Alrighty, I saw your show here this morning, and I just wanted to let you know up front, I am a Trump supporter. I've been supporting the guy since day one, but I definitely have some grievances with what's going on in this entire party.
Okay.
And the issue is globalism.
Okay.
The issue of globalism.
Okay.
I remember in the past, Donald Trump stood before the UN and he told them to their face, I'm for Americanism, not globalism.
Yeah.
And I'm not seeing that.
What is he doing that upsets you? Be more specific.
That's the issue. He's not doing anything.
No, when you say globalism, is he...
We still have a massive...
Yeah.
We have a massive influence from foreign countries, lobbying, using corporations, you name it.
When you say he's, you're saying. Hold on a second. I just wanted you're saying a lot of things, but you're being vague. You're accusing President Trump of being a globalist. So give the most recent example of him doing something that you believe is globalist.
I'm saying that he's doing nothing to push back against globalism.
Of course he is.
It's called non-action.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? The whole tariff thing is a fight against globalism. And because he's bringing back business into this country from around the world. He put these tariffs on these countries with the reciprocal tariffs. That's all a battle against globalism. Okay. Hello, McFly. Can you hear me?
I mean, you say so, but I don't believe that.
Well, then you're in denial. You're in denial.
I see very little. I'm not in denial. We're talking about the upper 0.0001% of the wealthiest people in the world
Yeah.
who own everything. They own all the important land. They own every single media corporation and conglomerate, all the way down to the local level. They have that control all the way down to the local level.
So what are you suggesting?
We're talking about
so what do you want to do
4 or
about it?
5
So
people.
okay, so you want Donald Trump to seize all of these all this private property? What do you want to do?
Stop pretending like it's not happened.
What are you talking about?
Israel is not our. Israel.
There
is
we
not
go.
Our
I knew that was coming.
ally.
I knew that was coming. See, when you said globalism, you just don't have the guts to say it. You don't like Jews. No, I knew when you said globalism. I knew exactly what you were.
You're not going to talk over me.
I will. Yes, I will. What people do it? Jews?
These people have control of government.
Who? Jews?
These people have control of government.
What people?
Israel is the
Israel,
hub of their
the
control
Jews.
network.
All right. The Jews control Trump's controlled by the Jews? Is that what you're saying? Trump's controlled by the Jews.
That's not what I fucking said.
Okay. First dump of the day, Mike. First dump of the day. That sounds like what he said to me. As soon as he said globalism, I knew exactly what he was talking. If you're on hold, stand by. We got to wait for the delay to re-engage. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. But it gives me an opportunity to talk about Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing while we wait for the delay to re-engage. Holy smokes. Did it sound like that's what he said to you guys? It is rainy season. It is hurricane season. It rains every afternoon here in the Sunshine State this time of year, doesn't it? If you've got a wet spot on your ceiling, you got a leak in your roof. You want to call Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing. Tom Laporta covers both the east and west coast of Florida and everywhere in between, and he works on every type of structure, commercial, residential, even municipal. He can handle the job of any size, whether it's one office building, an apartment building, a single-family home, or an HOA that has 350 units or even more. He can handle the job of any size. And he's not just a roofer. He's also a contractor. And under Florida law, as a contractor, Tom Laporta has the right to deal directly with your insurance company on the cost of the repair or the replacement of your roof, which speeds things up a lot. Give him a call. This number rings directly to Tom Laporta's cell phone, 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. That's 954-604-4602. And online, laportaroofing.com. Call us on hold, stand by. We'll be right back. All right, we're clear. Boy, oh boy. Oh, man. I tell you. I don't know why there's this new wave of anti-Semitism going on, but there you have it. There you have it. As soon as he said he had a problem with globalism, I knew exactly what he was talking about. Didn't you guys? Absolutely. I was just waiting for him to get to it. I thought he'd go to Iran first and go to them last, but he put it off as long as he could. He couldn't resist any longer. He had to go to that. If you're on hold, hang in there. Let's see. We're going to be back pretty quick. Okay. Okay. Yeah, you can't use profanity, guys. Cannot use profanity. I don't mind it, but it's against the rules. Can't use it on the radio. If you're new, make sure you subscribe, guys. All right. Back in a couple of minutes. Oh, man. There's been very good calls today. I must tell you, the calls on the program today have been very, very good. I think so, yeah. We've had great calls today. And remember, I started the show today at 5:20. So, even though I put up there 6 still, I've been starting the show early. I guess this is just over 3 weeks now. Or is this 2 weeks? Whichever it is, and that's great. And I also go long. So what I've done is I've taken our 3-hour show and I've expanded it to 4. So I'll be here with you. When I sign off the radio at 9, hang in there. I'm going to stay on after that. And of course, we're celebrating Alligator Alcatraz staying open. How could you not celebrate that? It's freaking awesome. Okay. One minute. We'll be back in about a minute. Just going over a couple things I want to cover when we get back. I will take the calls when we get back. Okay. 30 seconds. All right, we're back. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. It is Open MAGA Mic Friday, open phones. We've had really good calls today, I must tell you. And I don't know how many of you are aware of this, but I've expanded the show by an hour. Our 3-hour show is now 4 hours online. Like today, I started the show online on YouTube at 5:20, and then when we sign off at 9, I continue. So I've turned our 3-hour show into 4 hours. Been doing that, I think, is this week 3 of that? And gotten great feedback. So I've been taking calls since about 5:30 this morning. We have had spectacular calls on the program today, even from leftists, which, we had some reasonable liberals. All right, let's take some more calls. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's Jerome from California. How you doing, Brian?
I'm doing all right. Can you turn down whatever you're listening to me on in the back?
Listening to you.
Yeah, well, hey, you've got great taste in what you listen to and watch.
I mean, I love to watch what I hate, I always love to hate watch. That's one of my favorite passions.
There was one, you're not alone in that.
It was yesterday.
Before you get to your prepared statement, I was over at, this was a hilarious thing. I was over at Friendly Tire, our tire sponsor. This was a few months ago, and there was a listener there, and hold on, I'll put you on hold while I'm answering these other lines. There was a listener there, and he wouldn't talk. He was looking at me, and he was looking at me kind of weird. And I said to Friendly Mike, I said, this guy is he's like, yeah, he's a listener. I said, oh, I'll say hi. He said, no, he hates you. I said, but he's here buying tires. He says, yeah, he's buying 4 new tires. So about half the audience hates me. Which is fine, and so you're in good company.
I am. I know I'm in good company because you were freaking about Marjorie Taylor Greene yesterday, which I find it funny when rats flee a sinking ship, and it's the telltale sign, and you're on the wrong side of it. I just think it's funny.
Oh, so you agree with Marjorie Taylor Greene now?
I agree. No, I don't agree with Marjorie Taylor Greene. I think she's doing the right thing. She's still a racist troglodyte, just like you are.
Marjorie Taylor Greene's a racist?
Yeah, Jewish space lasers, or did you forget about that? You loved her with that.
First
right?
off, she didn't say that, but that would be not racist. That would be that would be anti-Semitic. But in fact, I interviewed Marjorie Taylor Greene on this program, and I asked her about the space lasers. She didn't say Jewish space lasers any more than Sarah Palin said, "I can see Russia from my house."
See, the funniest thing is you will defend this woman. You will defend her when it is convenient for you. This is why I think you're in a cult. Bill Burr said it best. What you do is treasonous. And honestly, one day you will pay for everything you've done, Brian.
Okay, there you go. Is that a threat? I don't know, Mike. What do you think? Is that a threat? One day I'll pay? What does that mean? You're on the air. Boy, oh boy.
Yeah, good morning. How are you this morning?
Oh, the last caller, you might have missed the end. The last caller, liberal guy,
yes.
He said, "I'm committing treason, and one day I will pay for everything I've done." So whatever that's a great way to start the weekend, huh?
Yeah, I didn't hear that one because I was on hold with this system. Listen, Brian, get your popcorn out. I love the fact yesterday I watched Kennedy get slammed by even Republicans because here's a guy that basically is trying to cure America, and these people, the Republicans and the Democrats, you could see the influence that these drug companies have on these politicians. It's just disgusting. They keep on, now that they're still pushing this COVID shot. And it's amazing, man. I mean, listen, COVID is a cold, folks. Right now, it's
you know what happened? I don't know, about 10 years ago, I was listening to National Public Radio, and they were they were doing it was like a radio documentary on pharmaceutical industry advertising.
Yeah.
And they had an author on that wrote a book about it or something, and it was an interest. When you and I were growing up, you didn't get advertisements for prescription medications. And in fact, when advertisements for prescription medications first began on television, it was it was like a comedy, because they would go through all the side effects at the end really fast, like your testicles could fall off, or I remember all those, and everybody be laughing. But what they said was, doctors begin to see. And now, today's doctors don't even realize there's something wrong with this. But what doctors were noticing real quick is that for the first time ever, patients were coming in asking for a specific prescription medication. That had never happened before. And that's how we got a Prozac generation. Prozac was the first big prescription drug that patients were asking for by name. It was and what's happened is the pharmaceutical industry spends boatloads of money advertising mainly on the news so they can control messaging. And it's I'm not on any prescriptions for anything. I'm not against prescriptions, but we're over-medicated, and the pharmaceuticals own the media as well as the government.
Yeah, they own the politicians, these guys that have Kennedy up there. And I watched how they grandstand in front of this guy. Listen, he said that President Trump saved a lot of lives with the first batch of injections because there was no immunity. But once we build up, it's a normal thing for us to build up our own immunity, and they didn't want to hear it. I mean, it's like, and I just watched it. I said, oh my God, this is... And Kennedy can't fight back with his voice.
This is the thing. And by the way, Bob, after the hearing yesterday, Bobby Kennedy Jr. liked one of my wife's tweets on her ex. I couldn't believe it. I took a screenshot. After the hearing, my wife responded to something he wrote on X, and he liked it. Like right away. I was shocked. That's a heartbeat away from President Kennedy and Senator Kennedy. That's pretty cool to me. But
history.
But it is. It's pretty cool. Who would have ever thought? But the thing about that hearing yesterday, these hearings are never meant to do anything. They're about showboating for the Congress people in either house. But Bobby Kennedy, with his voice problems, I thought he filleted him. I mean, he had Bernie Sanders.
He told them
he can't even talk, and he had Bernie Sanders saying that they're all on the take with the pharmaceuticals. Every one of them. It was hilarious.
Yeah, he looked at. That's why I said, this is. I can't wait for Marco Rubio to get there and all the others.
Yeah.
And bringing up Marco Rubio, people don't realize. But my wife is Venezuelan. Brian knows that. You know what? Venezuela's got Hamas down there. Venezuela's got China embedded
Iran.
in there.
They got Iran.
Venezuela's got Iran embedded. Iran. In other words, so we're not just. This is a concern for the United States. It's not just the drugs. It's the influence, and they're a member of OPEC. I mean, it's not just Maduro. It's a whole. The people, I don't know. The people don't have weapons down there, so I don't know how to.
It's basically, isn't it really? I mean, is it safe to say Venezuela is really an anarchy that has some warlords doing some things down there? Really, it's it's not a real
no
country.
Longer a government.
No,
not anymore. But they're controlling. China is attacking us with the drugs,
and it's all they don't teach this to kids in school anymore, and I haven't heard anybody mention this in the media. But what's going on is a violation of the Monroe Doctrine, that there's no foreign influence in the Western Hemisphere. Yeah, so so that's why Bush 1 went into Panama to take out a drug trafficking Noriega and arrest him.
Well, we have, I know there's Marines, there's like 4,000 Marines on these ships. I'm trying to figure out whether they're going to eventually invade, because they can't just sit back there. Well, what are we going to do? Just sit out there with warships?
They may do. I wouldn't be surprised if they go into the ports, stuff like that, or do some surgical raids on cartel mansions and villas and stuff. I wouldn't be surprised at that.
You know, his daughter, Maduro's daughter, is in the United States in Miami.
Yeah.
Yeah. The whole thing's a mess.
They should arrest her. She should be arrested.
Yeah, they got all his boats and his yachts and his planes and everything, and they're going to get him. I just hope when they get him, they got to go after the generals, everything else. These people, they've taken over the country.
We're not going to invade. I mean, I haven't been. Have you been to Venezuela because your wife's family and everything is there?
No, she can't even go there anymore. He started with the visas, and he started pulling a lot of garbage. No, we haven't gone. Her brother still has an apartment down there. He lives in Spain. Everybody is in exile. All the people with any influence or any kind of money are all sitting in the United States.
Anybody who can gets out.
Yeah, everybody down there that's left down there are just the poor, and the poor are starving. I mean, they were eating zoo animals down there. That's how bad it got.
Yeah,
I mean, it's ridiculous.
No, we're not going to win. There's no way we're going to invade. But again, that doesn't mean they won't do some surgical things here and there. But I can't, because it'd be like Vietnam if they invaded Venezuela.
No, I think because the people that are there are against the government. They don't have weapons.
Richie, how many times have I heard that? Like in Iraq. Come on. How many times have we heard that our troops will be welcomed by the people? Then you got an insurgency.
He made every young man put him in the army immediately. There's 4 million of them waiting for the United States to come in. They're only protecting this guy.
Yeah.
This guy he was a bus driver. Folks.
Oh, really? So really, and you don't support him? He's part of your tribe.
No. Yeah, he's part of my heritage.
Yes.
You know. You have a great morning.
All right, take care. All right, Richie the bus driver. Oh my goodness, that's pretty funny. I got to tell you, very funny, very funny. I mentioned Friendly Tire in Margate earlier, and I want to give out their information. At Friendly Tire in Margate, you can get new tires as low as $75 a tire out the door and on the road. And remember, Friendly Tire doesn't charge you to balance, mount, or even dispose of your old tires. And those $75, right? As low as $75, brand new tires out the door and on the road. And those are for common sizes on some of the most common cars on the road today. He also has thousands of used tires in stock. They are good used tires at even lower prices. He also does tire repairs. Give Friendly Tire a call. Mike will give you a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. That's 954-977-9445 for Friendly Tire in Margate. All right, we are clear. Now, if you're 65 years of age or older or turning 65 soon, give Chapter a call. Open enrollment's going to be here. in just a couple of weeks. That's a very busy time for insurance agents nationwide. You call Chapter now, you'll jump the line for open enrollment. When you call, no matter where you are in the United States, by the way, Chapter can help you with your Medicare. And they are the only company that handles all of the over 24,000 Medicare policies. The average Chapter client saves $1,100 a year. Make sure you're getting all the Medicare benefits you're entitled to. Make sure you're not paying too much. When you call the number, you're going to get a live agent for a personal free, always free, with no strings attached and no obligation to make any changes at all. You're going to get a free one-on-one consultation with a real agent. The number's in the description of the video. 805-754-3033. 805-754-3033. That's 805-754-3033. All right, give them a call. Let's see. Okay. We'll be back in 2 minutes. We're back. I'm Brian. You're listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. Oh, man. Our number is toll-free 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. And I got to tell you, it's open phones on Friday, open MAGA Mike Friday. I've been taking calls for 90 minutes. And we've had some of the most spectacular calls we've had in a long time, even from liberals. There were a couple of, one guy had the dump, the other guy with the threat. But overall, I talked to a liberal guy from Seattle, Washington, and I might have magnetized him. I don't know. Okay, now, this story dropped yesterday. The Pam Bondi Trump Department of Justice may be looking to ban transgendered people from owning guns. And, it's because there's been, some mass shootings by transgendered shooters. This would be an interesting thing, how this plays out, because I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this, no matter what political persuasion you're from, because I'm really interested in hearing what conservatives think, what MAGA people think about this, banning trans Americans from owning guns. There was a video of this Minneapolis shooter at the store with the rifles and everything, and I did watch that video. That's not how I behave in a gun store. Do you behave that way in a gun store when you're holding a gun or a rifle? I don't. I found it to be inappropriate and troubling. But I'm concerned about that. But I'm curious what people think on both sides. The conservatives, I'm interested in hearing what MAGA thinks about a ban on transgendered Americans owning guns, because what would that lead to? Is that a slippery slope? And why would transgender people not be permitted to purchase firearms? Would it be because of medications they were on? Would it be because of mental health issues? So what would happen? How would this work at the gun store? Would you have to, and if it's a mental health issue, would that be a slippery slope to applying to all Americans, right? Some type of mental health review. And my guess is conservatives would be against this. I'm not sure. You guys can let me know at 888-465-2631 whether you agree or disagree with that. I think most conservatives will be against this. Liberals, now this is, and I'm very interested to hear what liberals think about this. Remember, Department of Justice looking into banning transgendered Americans from owning guns, not just buying new ones, but owning them in general, right? What would be the liberal viewpoint on that? What do liberals think about that? I've never seen a gun restriction that the liberals didn't want. So are liberals going to now argue in favor of the Second Amendment for the first time ever? Or are they going to jump on board any gun restriction they can have? Are we, this is an interesting thing, because why would Trump drop this, banning trans Americans? I think it's a bit of a troll. The Democrats, they've totally lost their minds, right? We saw this when they came out advocating for the criminals of D.C. Now they're advocating for the drug traffickers and the cartels with their right to transport poisonous drugs into the United States by sea. They're defending that. And I think this is a tell and a troll that Trump is running here on the liberals to see what the left will say here. Because will they come out and say you can't ban transgender Americans from owning and possessing weapons? Are they all of a sudden going to support the Second Amendment? Or are they going to, like they always do, grab onto any gun control idea that they can? It's really a catch-22 for the left, isn't it? It's a great thing to bring up. It's not going to happen, I wouldn't think. But it's a great thing to bring up, no doubt. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, the masked lady, Louise in Boca.
Yep.
You know what? I don't understand. They're talking about mental health issues. Now, with the HIPAA law, are they even allowed to delve into their mental health records? That always troubled me with guns and so on.
Yeah, and and mental health is kind of a vague thing, right? I mean, is it that you're grumpy or you're you're feeling sad today? You may not be suffering from depression, but it's raining every afternoon. You know what I mean?
Well, what I'm asking, when one goes to buy a gun, are they allowed to go into their records?
Not yet.
I mean, doesn't the HIPAA law prevent that?
There's no way to go. There's no way to go into their records, because the what you do with your doctor is confidential. So no.
Yeah, but see, that always bothered me. I'm totally against the HIPAA law.
Listen. Here's the thing. There's all kinds of laws restricting gun buying that they take your word for. There's a big one. Straw purchases are illegal, and what a straw purchase is buying some. No, you can do a straw purchase at a gun store. Like if you go to a gun store and buy a gun for someone else, that's a straw purchase. That's illegal. And but I've been in gun stores, and you can't tell. You got to take their word for it, right? But I've seen some people buying guns And it looked like a straw purchase to me because it looked like the person they were with was picking out the gun to me, you know. But what are you going to do? So you got to take their word for it. Same, by the way, you can't do a yeah.
Brian, I have to say one more thing. I am so against Kennedy for what he's doing with the mandate on the vaccines of kids going to school. That I am so against.
Well,
when we
I'll
went to school.
Yeah, I'll tell you. You're talking about like the like the measles and chicken pox and stuff.
No, forget the measles and chicken pox. What about TB, polio, and now with all these foreigners in the country that aren't even vaccinated, our kids are going to be at risk. You know,
I saw a story last week that the measles epidemic was no longer an emergency in the state of Texas. That's because of the deportations. I can remember, and some of you, and I don't know what they were doing, but when I was in kindergarten, I remember them taking us out of class and having a nurse give us vaccinations in school. And I don't remember, what was that? I can't remember what they were. I was a little kid. You just did it.
There was diphtheria, later on polio. But you couldn't go to school unless you had these vaccinations.
Yeah.
But you see, I am for that because now, what are these kids going to be exposed to TB and all with these people coming in from all over the country?
Well, the reason that listen, I'm not a doctor, but like every other American of my age, I got all those vaccinations when I was a kid. And they really start when you have a baby, taking them to the pediatricians. They get a lot of vaccinations for the first 5 years of life before they start kindergarten. And the reason there's been chickenpox outbreaks and measles in particular is because the illegals have been putting their kids in the school system, and and the vaccinations that we get start from newborn. So it's not something you can just get when you come into the country. And but when you talk about vaccinations, I don't know. I don't get the flu shot. I don't get the flu shot.
I don't either.
Every time I've gotten it, I've gotten sick really bad, and I just don't. And I haven't gotten the flu shot like in 15 years. I've gotten it only a couple times, and both times it made me sick.
That's right. I never got it. My sister was sick for 3 months one time, and I never got a flu shot. But when I was a kid, there was no measles and chickenpox shots. We all got those diseases.
I had chickenpox when I was a kid. Yeah, I had chickenpox. I couldn't trick or treat one year because of it when I was like 5 or 6. I remember.
Yeah, but the really important was smallpox. Diphtheria, polio. See, that
I think what it is this is what it is. It's about freedom, right? What Bobby Kennedy's saying is we shouldn't mandate that people should be able to choose.
I'm against him, and I'm always wishing this guy would be fired. That's
I love Bobby Kennedy. I have so much respect for that man.
I'm a Republican, but I don't agree with these things he's doing.
Anyway,
I was in a class yesterday, in a current events class.
Yeah.
And even though most of the people were Republicans, they were against the mandate he put on going to school and not getting these shots. They were against it. They were all against it.
Well, it's because we've all had them.
But it's not to have them. They're dangerous. Smallpox. These are dangerous.
I'm not a doctor. I have no expertise in this, and this is not like one of my issues.
What about polio?
But what I wonder. I know. But what I wonder is, with some of these things, has the population gotten an immunity?
I wouldn't want to chance it. That's how I feel.
Okay.
Not with these things that are so almost deadly.
I kind of stick with individual. I don't like the government dictating to me what medicines and things I have to take and what I have to give my children. I'm not really in favor of that. That's
with COVID, people felt you should have a choice with COVID.
Mm-hmm.
But with the ones that we had to have years back, well, I'm an older person, not you, but
I had to have them when I was a kid and I moved to Florida from Ohio. I had to get a whole bunch of shots.
Right.
When I came to Florida, or I couldn't go to school.
You could not go to school.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah. All right, well, I got to run. I'm out of time for the hour, but thanks for the call, Louise, the mask lady. No, I'm not into the government mandating any medical treatment. Are you? All right, listen. We're going to take our break for the top of the hour. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio for 49 years. I'm Brian. Back after this. Hey there, how's it going? Okay, hold on. Steve, are you there? Steve? Are you there? Steve?
Just hang up.
All right, no. Are you there? Are you there? I can hear. Oh my gosh. There you I could hear him. Yeah. Quickly, we're almost out of time. Okay, hold on. I got to switch you. Hold on. Okay, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, hold on.
Am I there?
Yes. Hold on. Stand by. All right, we are back. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. I'm Brian Craig. Steve joining us early. Hey, Steve.
Good morning. How are you? It was an emergency. That's why I wanted to get on.
Emergency?
Before you got off into something else.
What was the emergency?
Have you seen the front page of the New York Post today?
I did, but I don't remember what was on it. Let me see what's on the cover.
Well, I'll read you the banner headline, and what I want to do, bear in mind, audience, while I'm reading this, I don't know what, after I read the front page, I'm not sure what it means. If anybody else has heard about this, I'd like them to call in with the details. The front page banner headline is Trump to City, Drop Out. And the subheadline is tells GOP donor, this is Katzen, whatever his name is, the guy that runs the Daily, the $1 million business. He tells Katzen, what's his name, that he has a plan to stop Mandami.
Yeah. That's
do
not.
You know about this?
What's on the front page of my New York Post is different than that, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Tell me about it.
The cover on mine online, I don't even know why it's even in the paper. It makes no sense. I don't even know what they're talking about. It's a whole nother story. It's bizarre. We talked about this a little bit yesterday. It came out of the White House the other day that President Trump, there was a poll that came out over the weekend, last weekend, and in a head-to-head race, Governor Cuomo beats Mamdani. Okay, that came out over the weekend, and it wasn't even close, by the way. It wasn't even close. I mean, he'd wiped the floor in a head-to-head race. And a couple of days ago, the White House leaked out that President Trump was going to offer Mayor Adams and Curtis Sliwa jobs to get them out of the race. And they only have about a week or 10 days to do that. If they don't drop out within the next 10 days or roundabout, they're going to be on the ballot. So this will either happen or it won't quick. And if it's a head-to-head, so President Trump has joined, as crazy as this sounds, he's joined forces with Cuomo, Governor Cuomo. And it's a pretty good plan. And and I'll tell you what he could offer both of them. If I'm not mistaken, maybe I'm wrong. You can let me know. But doesn't Mayor Adams need a pardon still? Didn't he have some crime going on he was being accused of?
He got one pardon, I know that.
Did he get pardoned? Okay, he doesn't need a pardon? He's already been pardoned?
Well, I don't know that. I mean, he may be charged with a different crime.
Yeah, I'm curious about that. I don't know if they pardoned him or just stopped the investigation. I think they might have dropped the investigation, but they could start it up, but if he got pardoned, let me know. And so far as Curtis Sliwa, okay, Curtis Sliwa could take the Guardian Angels national with this crime crackdown in the blue cities. And I'm sure President Trump could give him a great new position with the Chicago and Baltimore and New Orleans crime crackdowns that he's leading with the military. So I think that would be...
you think that's what it is?
Well, that's a good idea because Curtis Sliwa's campaign said yesterday he's not dropping out. You offer him the right job, he's just negotiating. He'll drop out. It's a good offer. That would be a good offer. Get him in. The Guardian Angels. Most people don't even know what they are anymore. Well,
I don't understand why they haven't gotten more exposure. They'd be perfect. Curtis would be perfect for this assignment, and no one even brings his name up.
No, but Trump has a plan, and they're talking to them to get both Mayor Adams and Curtis Sliwa to drop out. And I know a lot of people are saying, well, that's crazy. Why would he team up with this lunatic Cuomo? Because he doesn't want the Muslim communists to take over New York City. That's why. And there's not a Republican that could win it. And it's better. I would rather have Hillary Clinton as mayor than Mamdani. He's that bad.
He's pretty bad.
He's that bad, and so you gotta do what you gotta do, And Cuomo will be a terrible mayor. However, becoming mayor of New York is in my opinion, being mayor of New York City is a bigger deal than being the governor of New York, isn't it? I mean, it's like
it's a pretty big job.
It's a big deal, and Cuomo wants to be president, so he would probably become a very rational Democrat as mayor. But we can't let this Muslim communist take over. And I was talking about this yesterday on the show before you joined the show. When this came out 2 days ago, okay, leaked out of the White House, and Mamdani, I caught this on the local news in New York City online.
Two days ago.
2 days ago.
Story was
around. Yeah, 2 days ago. Mamdani called what was described by the local news in New York City as an emergency press conference. and he had this press conference. I can't play it for you because people were yelling profanities at him.
He was hysterical.
He looked terrified, like he knew it was hopeless. His hope to victory was the three-way split of the vote against him, and he knows if this happens, he's not going to win. And he looked panicked to me. Yeah.
Well, I don't know that Don can count on all of those guys to drop out. I'm sure
just
some
two of them,
will, but...
Mayor Adams and Curtis Sliwa. He just needs those two. And what's going on with this crime? Curtis Sliwa is a showboater. He can't win anything. So he can't win.
Why do you say that?
The mayor of New York, a Republican, Curtis Sliwa. I don't think so. If this were
He's pretty well known in New York, and he has a good reputation in New York.
Listen, I respect him and everything else, but if this were the 70s or early 80s, maybe. But he's kind of young people don't even know what he is and about. They think he's just some weird guy in a satin jacket and a beret.
That's because of the way the press that's because of the limited coverage. The press has given him.
He can't win. He can't win. He's got to get out. Curtis Sliwa can't win. Mayor Adams can't win. And Mamdani will win if it's a three-way race.
So he's going to talk Curtis out. This is we're talking about Trump. He's got to talk Curtis out, and he's got to talk who else out?
Mayor Adams.
Mayor Adams.
And Mayor Adams looks. If you've seen Adams lately, he looks clinically depressed.
They all look pretty depressed. In fact, every Democrat I see on television is depressed.
Yeah.
Clinically and otherwise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, now, listen, if you're on hold, stand by. Today's Friday. It's open phones, open MAGA Mike Friday. Any and everything on your mind is fair game. But your thoughts on this or anything we brought up on the show so far, certainly we want to hear your thoughts on that as well. The number is toll-free, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. You want to take some calls? What do you want to do?
Sure, let's do it.
All right, let's try to take one or two before the first break of the hour. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Conservative Doug.
Oh, hey, Doug.
I want to mention something about Kennedy. But first I got to say something about Ron DeSantis. He's using this idea of no real estate tax to get people to forgive him from betraying President Trump and to get votes maybe if he's going to run for office. Because one of his own people said it's highly unlikely they'll be able to get it onto the ballot because the Democrats, you need a supermajority.
To get what on the ballot? To get what on the ballot?
To get on the ballot to have no real estate tax.
No, they'll do a petition then. Then they'll do a petition. Everybody will sign it. They'll go through every neyborhood. Everybody will sign it. They'll get enough signatures. They'll get enough signatures in like 3 minutes.
Yeah, that would be great. But, according to one of the guys who is a DeSantis supporter, he was saying it's highly unlikely.
See, we really need it. The real estate taxes in Florida are reasonable. However, the homeowners insurance has gone through the roof, and people I don't even want to. I don't know what mine is now. I just know it went up again. I don't want to know. I didn't look at the letter this time when they raised it because I can't do it. I can't do anything about it, and it'll just make me upset. Let my wife handle it and worry about it. All right, appreciate the call. All right, listen. Let's take our first break of this hour. Hold on. Who am I going to tell you about? I forgot who I want to tell you guys. Oh, of course. Tom Laporta Roofing. It rains every day now, right? And when we talk about if you got a wet spot on your ceiling, you've got a leak in your roof, what people don't realize is when you've got that wet spot on your ceiling that's the size of a coin, the leak in your roof is much, much bigger than that. It's got to get through the shingle, the tile, the wood in the roof. You've got your insulation above it. That little wet spot on the ceiling is a much bigger hole when you get up to the roof. You'd be shocked. And what that loose shingle or tile is, it's an entryway for the winds to get into your home. You want to get that taken care of. Tom Laporta is a good MAGA guy. He'll never sell you a roof you do not need. This number rings directly to his cell phone. You can call or text. He covers both the east and west coast of Florida and everywhere in between. 954-604-4602. He works on every type of structure, residential, commercial, and municipal. He can handle a job of any size, if it's an HOA with 400 units or more, or a single-family home. 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. And online, LaportaRoofing.com. We'll be right back. Steve, I'm going to put you on hold for a minute. Okay, hold on.
Okay.
Okay, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
I got 90 seconds.
I got something good here.
Okay. Just over a minute. Okay. All right, we're back. I'm Brian. Steve Kane is here. You're listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show.
I got another thing here.
Yep.
On the next page, page 4 of the New York Post today, I'm going to read it the way it's written in the paper. They say, Dawn deadline to Eric and Curtis, get out by Wednesday, stop this guy or I will.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't sound like he's going to ask them to do anything. It sounds like it's a very proactive statement he made.
I know.
But how can he do that?
He
can't make them drop out.
No, or I will. There's been talk of him deporting Mamdani. That's what I...
Oh, I knew that was a good headline. Wow.
You know, the elephant in the room, it's not that he's some lunatic leftist kid. It's that he's Muslim. He's a radical Muslim. That's what has... I mean, it's New York City. That's where ground zero is. Right? Nobody wants to say
we all agree on the degree of danger, but that never even entered my mind.
Yeah.
Can you imagine what that would be like?
Yeah.
The reaction to that if he deports the candidate.
They'd have to do it in the middle of the night without some...
Well, it's what I'm sure they would, but that's definitely what they're referring to. Now that you mentioned that.
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
Stop this guy or I will.
Yeah.
Sounds like they're getting ready to toss him on a plane out of here.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
The reaction to that would be on every...
And my guess is that they've got something on him that would justify that.
Or they'll create it.
President Trump would not manufacture evidence.
I wouldn't think so.
No.
Well, I'm sure whatever he's got is real, but...
This is his hometown, Donald Trump. He's not messing around. It'd be bad.
That's shocking.
This isn't Dinkins.
I want to be on the air the day after he pulls that trick.
What trick? Maybe they'll use the Maybe they'll use the Patriot Act, whatever they call it these days.
But when you put it all together, all the pieces of this puzzle, that's what it sounds like.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I can't think of anything else it could be.
Boy, oh boy, can you just imagine how the anti-Trump crowd is going to go nuts?
Oh, it'd be beautiful.
It fulfills every stereotype fantasy they have about Trump. That he'd take over and be a dictator and all that.
Well, there's maybe less than 10 days before the ballots are finalized, which I don't understand. The election's not till November. I don't know why the ballots are going to be finalized in 10 days, but they will be. So it's got whatever's going to happen has to happen. I think it's less than 10 days now.
Well, he said that he put it in his paper. He's very specific about it in the Post. He says, stop this guy or I will.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not mincing words about it.
Yeah. I know. I mean, I don't know of anything else it could be other than deportation. Whatever.
Well, it's when you put it together and with the quotes, it sounds right.
But let me ask you though: if say Trump, say he's on the ballot and he got deported, wouldn't that put him over the edge? Don't you think there'd be such a mobilization he'd win against one-on-one with Cuomo if they deported him? Hold, let me put you on hold. I got to answer all these lines that are ringing. Are you back with us, Steve?
Yeah, I'm
okay.
here.
Do you think that if Trump deported him, okay, and he's on the ballot, don't you think that would help him win?
It's hard to
You're making him a victim.
It'd be a backlash. I don't know if it would.
The Democrats nationwide.
What you also might find out is that Trump has more of a following in New York. Everything he's done in the campaign so far, in terms of his speeches and stuff, has been very well received.
Mm-hmm.
They seem to like him a lot in New York. Can't just be in Madison Square Garden.
Well, there'd be a nationwide Democrat movement again. I mean, nothing like that's ever happened.
Oh my God. This is what they need, because they need a shot of something.
Yeah, a shot of something. I mean, I don't know. I mean, they got it. Oh, hold on a second. Hold on. Well, hopefully it doesn't come to that, because I think that's a risky play.
I'd say it's fraught with danger.
Yeah. Well, let's see what the audience thinks. Let's take some calls. Our number is 888-465-2631. Now, it is Open MAGA Mike Friday, open phones on Friday, but Steve and I have brought up a lot of good things today. I would hope you would be calling about some of them. All right, let's go.
And this last one, I'll put it in the form of a question. Yep. What would the reaction be by the Mamdani followers if Trump were to have ICE pick him up, put him at the airport, and send him back to wherever he came from?
Or
what would the reaction be?
Uganda.
Uganda.
That's where he's from.
Oh, Uganda is supposed to be beautiful.
He's got a mansion. He's got a mansion there with walls around it and stuff. He just got married there a couple weeks ago. All right, let's go to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, it's Patty from New Jersey. How are you guys this morning?
All right.
Hey, Pat. How you doing?
Good, Steve. How are you doing?
Excellent.
So, anyway, I wanted to kind of respond to that one woman that had called in about the vaccines, and I think that there's a big distinction on what's going on with them. Back when they did the measles, the diphtheria, and all that stuff, I think the pharmacological companies had American people's interest at heart, and they were really trying to solve a problem. Today, it's become a money machine, and they've gotten greedy. So they've come out and they've really hurt themselves, because now nobody trusts anything. The measles, the polio, diphtheria, it's been around a long time. It's proven. But these other ones that are hitting the market, there's no way that these the mortality rate in chickenpox is like next to zero. So why is it that we're trying to prevent something that's naturally occurring?
Did you see the hearings yesterday, Pat?
I did.
What did you think?
I thought it was a disgrace. I thought it was a disgrace what the Democrats are doing. It's all because they're bought out by money that they're out there fighting to keep this stuff.
It was Bernie Sanders was the best. He confessed that everybody in Congress is on the take with Big Pharma. That was great.
Yep.
He pointed to everybody, and
Bernie's such a phoney.
Yep.
He is, isn't he? He's worth millions of dollars.
Yeah.
But I got to tell you, when you say disgusting, I think Bobby Kennedy deserves a certain level of respect that he doesn't get.
Oh, he absolutely does. Oh, 100%. I don't think disgusting on his end. I thought he did very well, and I 100% agree with him. It should be a choice, and not every child is the same, and it's just, I'm a farmer, and when you have a weak animal, you do not vaccinate them. All right.
I don't think that it has anything to do with I don't think that's what this is about. I think what it's about is, again, a way to get at Trump. Everything is a way to get revenge or to destroy Donald Trump. And they haven't had much luck in any other way. So yesterday they used the hearings to try to pick him apart and destroy him.
Well,
he didn't look great in the hearings yesterday.
Bobby?
I mean, I sympathize with your point of view, but...
Well, Bobby Kennedy can hardly talk. He's at such a disadvantage.
Yeah, I know.
Right. Well, you have to understand, Bobby has the facts in front of him. And, I think he's got a little bit of a disability with his voice, and I'm sure that it's difficult. But the way that the Democrats just roll people over, they don't give you a chance to talk.
It's like that in every hearing. The hearings aren't meant for the witnesses to talk. They're meant for the Congress people to showboat for sound bites.
Showboat, exactly.
Every hearing.
And you know what? It all has to do with the midterm elections coming up. They're trying to do everything they can, just like with all of the women that came out the other day.
You're hysterical.
Well, listen, we got to take our break, but you make some good points. Thanks for the call. All right. Okay, I'm gonna put you and everyone on hold. This is the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian. We'll be right back. Now, if you're 65 or older or turning 65 soon, listen up. You want to call Chapter. Open enrollment's going to be here before you know it. It's a very busy time for insurance companies. You call Chapter, you'll go right to the front of the line during open enrollment. But they'll review your policy. When you call this number, give them a call now. You're going to get a live person a live agent. They're going to answer your questions no matter what they are. It's completely free. And they can help you no matter where you are in the United States. No matter what state you're in, they can help. And Chapter is the only company that handles all over 24,000 Medicare policies that are out there. The average Chapter client saves $1,100 a year. So give them a call. It is completely free. You'll be glad you did. All right? 805-754-3033. 805-754-3033. The number's in the description of the video as well. All right. Steve, you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, hold on. Stand by. Okay, 1 minute. Stand by.
Okay.
$30 seconds.
Okay.
All right, we are back. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977.
I've been thinking during the break. I think it's a horrible thing if that scenario you painted of making taking this half-baked
Mamdani
jerk Mangani, or however you pronounce it,
Zohan,
about basically removing him from the country. I would like not to see that. I'd rather take my chances with him serving office. First of all, it would. I know it would be not a nice thing for the people of New York. I can understand that. But once you get past that, it's going to be a learning experience. I mean, they'll suffer a lot, but they'll learn to put an end to this nonsense.
Well,
on the other hand, if in fact he doesn't interfere, I think it would kill the socialist movement in the country, which is just trying to, just getting off the ground now. I think it would be a disaster, and I think that we learn from the mistake.
No, this isn't about the socialist. It's about the Islamic part that's the problem.
Well, okay, but they combined.
Yeah. Well, I don't think he's the socialist is just is just his cover. You know what I mean? That's his cover story.
Whatever it is, it's a good. The lesson could be shows you what happens when you let one of these socialist types.
I've been following this race pretty closely, okay, since Mamdani won the primary. He won the primary because he got lucky, okay? The Democrats and Cuomo got arrogant. he had this ground game. The voter turnout was very small. No one was paying attention, and he got lucky, okay, because of that. If Trump can get, let me tell you, this is a great opportunity for Curtis Sliwa to be right front and center with ridding these big cities of crime. It's everything he was always about with the Guardian Angels.
Well, that solves the problem if it went that way.
Yeah, and if he does something with Adams, if it's Cuomo versus Mamdani, people don't listen. He's a Democrat and he's a jerk, Cuomo, but he is a top tier professional politician.
A top tier jerk.
Yeah, but he's a top tier politician who will wipe the floor with Mamdani. And can you imagine a debate between these two? It would be brutal. And I'm confident that we could win with Governor. I know it sounds crazy. I'm advocating for a Democrat, but we're talking about New York City here, and I think we could. The mobilization.
What do you think? What do you think the negative consequences would be if he?
Deporting him, if he's deported and he's on the disaster, it could be. Yes. It could go south so quick. But you know, this is the thing: if it's Cuomo versus Mamdani on the ballot, I don't think the Democrat party machine of New York wants to hand that over to the Muslims, which is what they'd be doing.
No, I think you're right. Well, that's why they're trying to get Curtis and
Mayor Adams. Mayor Adams
out.
But that's why I'm so confident that Governor Cuomo would win. On top of the fact that I saw him, Steve. He had a press conference about a week ago in the street.
Well,
he's
wait
good.
A minute, but we're talking a scenario where he doesn't have a chance to win, and where Don deports him.
No. Mamdani. If it's just the two candidates, Cuomo and Mamdani, I think Cuomo could beat him. I'm not going to say it's going to be easy, and it may be tight, but I think he could beat him. Hold on, let me answer all these lines. But if President Trump deports him, you make him a martyr, and that's unpredictable. And
oh my God! It would be the final nail in the coffin of this campaign they have that Don wants to be a dictator.
Correct.
That would give the appearance of truth to it.
Correct.
And I think we're doing too well to blow it on a thing like this. I wouldn't do it. I'd rather live with the results of the election than do something like deport this guy.
But there's all kinds of great jobs he could give to Mayor Adams. He's got a law enforcement background. He could make him the head of some agency or something. I don't know. There's a million jobs for him. And Curtis Sliwa, going into Chicago. You don't think Curtis Sliwa would like to be with his red beret and satin jacket on the front lines on top of some tank going into Chicago, cleaning up the streets? Of course he would. So I think they can deal with Sliwa. And Trump has a relationship with Mayor Adams.
Well, we kept him out of jail.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's take some calls. Let's find out what the audience thinks. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Law enforcement background.
You're on the air.
You're
on the air.
Hello?
Yeah, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling? Yes.
I can't hear the caller at all.
I can't either.
Frenchie from Stewart.
Frenchie, turn down the volume in the background of whatever you're listening to us on.
I'm doing that right now. I have to turn it off. I have to turn you off.
Okay, but turn us back on after the call.
There you go. You're off.
Yeah.
I turned you off. Hey, I think the lady called from Venezuela the other day, and she got cut off because she was about to say something that nobody was supposed to know yet. You see what they're doing down there?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
No, that woman called the other day, and you lost her, and she never called back.
I don't remember the call.
Something was going on in Venezuela. Anyways, have we taken control of the Panama Canal?
No. And you didn't turn us off in the background. I mean, Frenchie's Ram, I can't talk to that guy with the noise in the background. I'm sorry, guys. All right.
One more chance.
Yeah. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. This is Barbara in Baltimore.
Hey, Barbara.
Hey, Barbara.
Hey, and hi, Steve. Good morning. As much as I hate to say that Andrew Cuomo would be the better choice,
I know, it's crazy.
I completely agree with you. And to deport Mondami would be a bad move. You got to beat him.
I agree with
you. Got to beat him. Got to beat him, and he can be beaten, especially with President Trump's popularity is gaining much more than people really realize, especially among people who live in these places where crime is
But it
rampant.
still opens them up to a horrible avenue of attack, doesn't it, don't you believe?
A deportation or what?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Well, Barbara, do you think
a lot of damage with that?
Do you think President Trump would go to New York and campaign for Cuomo for mayor, a Democrat?
Well, he wouldn't need to, but what I think
Have a rally?
I don't think he would campaign for him because that would turn. I've got Democrat relatives up there who still say there's no crime. Of course, they are so well off. They're traveling and probably on cruises and stuff right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's the culture there. A lot of they're just going to vote Democrat. Period. But what President Trump can do is do massive cleanup. However he can.
Well,
do
see,
it.
here's another thing, Barbara, you just mentioned, and this is important. Cuomo will be on the ballot as an independent. Mamdani will be on the ballot as the Democrat. So you know how these New York Democrats are. Can they get themselves not to vote for that D?
Well, I think he's lost the Jews. The Jewish vote should certainly not go for Mondami because that would be like signing their own death
I don't know
warrant.
about that. I got a friend of mine.
Mondami is not a socialist. Mondami is a communist.
A friend of mine who's
a communist, which is aligned with Islam.
I was talking to a friend of mine the other day who's Jewish. Okay. And it's why I don't want to call them out, but it's one of our sponsors, okay, on the program who's Jewish, and their relatives in New York love Mamdani. And I said, what? This is how the Holocaust happened. He's like,
What?
yeah, I know. I've been trying to tell him. Yeah.
So you see, that's why President Trump campaigning for Cuomo is not going to be a helpful thing, but cleaning up the crime might be, and doing it with with the state in coordination if possible.
Have a good weekend.
All right, take care. All right. Well, I'll tell you. Yeah. So I wouldn't never underestimate liberal Jews when it comes to voting their way to doom. That D on the ballot is, how it goes.
Voting against their own interest.
Yeah, it's happened before. It'll happen again. Right? I mean, look at how many people vote for Debbie Wasserman Schultz every 2 years, right?
It's true.
She big support. Yeah, she's on the wrong side of everything. I want to take a moment though to talk about coastal weight loss secret. Oh man, Steve, I've lost so much weight. I don't shave too much. I got like one of those razors where you still have like the whiskers, and every once in a while, and I shaved with a blade yesterday. I did like got a clean shaving for the first time in a while. And I don't even hardly Steve, I look like I looked 20 years ago in my face right now. My chin is my face. I got my jaw structure back. I cannot believe how I want to start shaving. I'm wondering if I stopped shaving because I'd gained weight, right? To hide it. Maybe I was. Maybe I thought I was just lazy and looking cool, but I think I want to start shaving every day again because I look so thin and so good. And you can too. Give Coastal Weight Loss Secret a call. If you don't believe me, go on YouTube, guys. Look me up on YouTube today, right now, and look at my face, okay? Give Coastal Weight Loss Secret a call. One of our listeners told me today they've lost over 40 pounds with Coastal Weight Loss Secret, and they're still losing. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. That's 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightlossecret.com. We'll be right back. All right, I'll put you on hold. I'll be right back, Steve. Hold on. Hey, it's Brian. Hey, I'm going to put you on hold. Stand by. Steve, you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay. We're going to have Barry coming out of this. Okay, we got 1 minute. Oh, man. All right, I'm going to conference Barry in. Okay, hold on. Hey, Barry, we have about 15 seconds.
Okay, thank you.
All right, we are back, and on the line, Steve, we have your attorney, Attorney Barry Siegel from the Siegel Law Group. Good morning, Barry.
Hey. Good morning. How are you both doing?
Great.
Good.
We're doing
All right,
great.
very
Awesome.
good.
Yeah. So what do you
All
have?
right, well-
What do you have for us this morning?
Sure. One of the things that would be a good thing for people to do is to review their current estate plans. So if you've actually done one, like if you've done a will, if you've done a trust, and you have what we call the other ancillary documents like the powers of attorney and healthcare documents, it's a great idea to take them out and look at them and get an idea of who you have in what seat. So who is your successor trustee in your trust? Who's the backup to them? Same thing with your will, your personal representative. Who's the primary? Who's the backup? Power of attorney, healthcare decision makers. Because you may have forgotten who they are. I mean, we've seen situations where the people that are named are no longer living, no longer mentally capable, no longer the best option. And there may be other people, maybe your adult children are now in a better position to be that person when in the past they were either too young or immature, or you weren't ready to give them that responsibility. All those things are super important. And if you're not sure what you're looking at, bring them in and come in for a free review, and we will take a look at it. And one of the other things I just wanted to touch on today was the importance of the role of your successor trustee. When you have a trust, you're the trustee as long as you're alive and mentally capable, but you really need to name somebody that you trust their judgment. They're responsible, because not only are they going to be the ones in charge of the process of distributing your assets to your beneficiaries at your death, they're the ones who are going to be in charge of handling your assets for you if you were to become mentally incapable of handling them yourself. So you really need someone that you completely trust and somebody that you trust their judgment to make good decisions.
Absolutely. And remember, the Siegel Law Group, you recommend, Barry, that people have their documents reviewed every 3 years. And the Siegel Law Group will review your documents at no charge, even if they were prepared by another attorney or law firm. Give them a call, toll free, 855-FLA-3782. 855-FLA-3782, and online, SiegelLawGroup.com. That's SiegelLawGroup.com. All right, Attorney Barry Siegel, we'll talk next week.
All right. Thank you so much, gentlemen.
All right. Take care. All right. We are back. There's some other good news too, Steve, is that the appeals court ruled with the Trump administration, and Alligator Alcatraz will remain open for business. And it was the appellate court, and they're already have announced they're going to start sending more illegals there to be deported, to be processed. I mean, you know,
that was great news.
Oh, you know, what the Democrats have done to themselves is insane, right? They spend 2 weeks defending the rights of criminals to do the worst crimes you can do with the D.C. crime cleanup. Now they're they've been arguing in favor of these illegals for years. They refused to vote for that law that protected women from being raped and murdered by illegals, right? Remember that? And now they're protecting and defending the drug cartels out of it that Trump took out on that boat the other day. I don't know what's happened to the Democrats. I mean, it's they've always been
whatever it is. It's not pretty.
Oh my goodness! I mean, I don't know what they're thinking. You know, I saw David Axelrod. David Axelrod. I saw him yesterday. Okay, and for those who don't remember David Axelrod, he was one of the campaign managers for Obama's first campaign. Okay, in 2008. David Axelrod was a senior advisor to Obama in his first term, and he's from Chicago, and he's one of the big Democrat party bosses. David Axelrod is the one that set up Herman Cain and with that honeypot and they were so panicked about Herman Cain. They remember when Herman Cain had that sugar baby?
I sure do.
Axelrod was behind all of that. Okay, and he's a top Democrat person and boss today. And he said that the governor and the mayor need to shut up and get behind Trump with ridding Chicago of crime. And when you've got, you know, it's not just James Carville anymore sitting in that chair in his pajamas screaming. Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty much everybody.
Yeah,
but I mean, they don't admit mistakes. Which I understand. A lot of people are like that, but none as stubborn as the Democrats.
Yeah, but they're
just self-destructive.
When David Axelrod is saying, "What are you doing? Stop defending criminals. Get behind." When you have David Axelrod advising Democrats to support a Trump action, you know what Trump's doing is incredibly popular. You know, there's some things that are nonpartisan. Rounding up rapists and murderers, that's a nonpartisan thing. At least I thought it was. You know. All right, let's take some more calls. Let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. Hey, Steve. It's Mark from Randolph. How you doing?
All right.
Hey, so, you know, good morning. So, I know you guys like, you know, it's Open Mic Friday, so I thought I'd call about, why are you lying about food prices still? Like, you guys keep lying about it, but all your listeners know that food prices are going up. Trump lied about bringing those prices down.
Well, first of all, the president doesn't have the authority to order grocery sellers to lower their prices. Okay, that's number one.
Oh.
Number two, I've been to Publix, and the prices have gone down a little bit here, a little bit there. $1 here, $2 there on items. And eggs are down like 80, 90%. But I've seen on other things, prices going down a lot.
Okay. But then why did he make that promise that he's like, day one, prices will go down?
They have gone down. They are going down. He didn't lie. They are going down.
Here's the thing, though.
They are. No, hold on a second. They are going down.
Okay. I'm just saying, all your listeners go to the grocery store.
Yes.
Like, you can gaslight me. You can do that. That's fine. I go grocery shopping. I do it. Me and my wife go together. You know, and I see the prices going up. Like, all your listeners all hear.
That's not what I'm seeing.
They hear you say
a lot of it may depend on where you shop and where you live and what you buy. But when I go to the store, I don't keep track of the grocery prices. My wife does, but I go to the store for her. Mm-hmm. And my wife tells me, and I see it myself because I've been going regularly, the prices have gone down $1 or $2 on per item.
Between what you lose when you're shopping, you gain pickup when you fill up your car with gas.
Yeah, gas is a little lower too, but the prices are going down. Now,
I haven't seen gas prices go down anywhere.
All right, okay. So where do you want to go from here? You have anything in closing?
I see it. Where do you live?
I live in New York, but I also work in Pennsylvania, Ohio.
Well, you know, you're dealing in high tax
I work all
states.
over.
You know, I'm in Florida. You know, you're in liberal area in New York. You know.
Okay.
But you know, so I am seeing $1, $2, $3 less per item at the store.
I'm just saying, a lot of your listeners are not seeing that same thing.
You're disturbed by the food prices, but the state income tax in New York, where they soak you guys every which way but loose, that doesn't bother you. The Democratic creation. State income tax.
I can't control those things.
Well, you can't control food prices either. So why are you calling me?
You can't control food prices.
The president promised they would go down on day one. He said that.
They are going, and I keep telling you they are. They are going down. You just don't want to accept it.
Okay. I'm just saying your listeners aren't seeing the same thing. That's all. But I do have one other thing. You're confused by anti-Semitism, and I think that the problem is it's not anti-Semitism. We're disgusted by the actions of Israel. It doesn't mean we hate Jews. We hate their actions. I hate what, you know, that's what they're doing is disgusting.
Jews shouldn't defend themselves, Steve.
Right. So, Steve, let me ask you. So when they bomb a hospital and kill 20 kids,
they don't.
To take out one Hamas agent,
they don't
that's
do
okay
that.
with you?
They
You're
don't
okay
do
with
that. That
happened last week.
No.
Independent journalists reported that. It happened. They recorded it.
If a hospital,
it's on the TV.
Excuse me, hold on. If a hospital gets taken out, there's a difference between targeting a hospital and mistakenly hitting a hospital too. You agree with that?
Oh, so they've mistakenly killed hundreds of thousands.
No, I don't accept that.
I get it. I understand.
No. Well, listen. You know, the civilians. Israel said anybody who wanted to leave Gaza could leave. They stay. What are they supposed to do?
So you're saying if someone said leave Florida or you're going to die because we're bombing it, you're just going to leave. You're just going to run away from your homeland?
Yes.
That's right?
My homeland, yes.
Do?
Yes, Steve, would you leave Florida if they were going to bomb it and they said get out or it's going to get bombed? I think we'd leave, yes.
Okay, so you're just saying run away from their ancestral homeland. I get it.
Their ancestral homeland? Yes, yes. You know, when hurricanes come, there's evacuation zones along the beach. If you stay, you get killed probably. Most people that die in hurricanes are in evac zones that don't evacuate. Yeah, you got to.
I'm just saying we live in a world where everyone has a cell phone and this is recorded. Everyone's recording this stuff. When the IDF walks into a wedding, a peaceful wedding, and they throw tear gas, and then they walk away laughing without arresting anyone.
A peaceful wedding? Come on.
Yeah, there's weddings. There's weddings.
Yeah, I missed that. Yeah, I know people get married.
What happened? I missed the story.
The peaceful wedding where the IDF went in.
Who are you referring to?
Oh my goodness, are you serious?
Yes.
I'm referring to a wedding that was taking place in Gaza. The IDF was patrolling. They walked in, threw tear gas, and walked away laughing.
Come on.
I'm sorry. Are you not? Do you not have the internet in Florida? Are you guys still behind? You guys
no,
doing dial-up?
Steve and I think Steve and I just don't watch Al Jazeera. Hey, listen, appreciate the call, and maybe if we did, we'd see all these things. Oh my goodness. Do you get Al Jazeera in Cooper City, Steve? Al Jazeera?
Do I get
Al Jazeera? No, I don't get it either. Well, maybe we should start watching, then we could see the wedding attack by the Jews. Oh my goodness.
Get a balanced picture.
I thought anti-Semitism was gone, and it's back so hardcore. It's insane. I want to talk about there's something new from Sloman's. It's called Shield Link. Listen to this. It's this all-in-one. You'd love this, Steve. You walk into your house, right? Like say you go out to the store or something, you come home, everything in your house turns on. Your AC, thermostat gets set what you want, your TV's on, the lights are on, everything's on. Everything. As soon as you walk in. The alarm shuts. It's amazing. It's certainly amazing. Your doors are locked or unlocked. You get everything on. It's really an amazing thing. This new Sloman's Shield Link. Give them a call. And, it connects right to your devices. And the Sloman's Shield Link is compatible with all the devices you already have in your house. And I know I got a lot, and it's compatible with them all. Sloman's includes installation for all your devices. They offer 24/7 support. If you ever have to troubleshoot a problem or want to add something, you can call them at any time. You want to give them a call at... I misplaced the number. Oh, that's cool. Oh, I misplaced the number. Hold on. Oh, boy. I might have to give you the number after the break.
That's fine.
Hold on a second. I might have it here. I've got all my copybook. I messed everything up this morning. I dropped it on the floor, and I'm still picking it up. I'll have to give you the number after the break, because I don't have the right number on my copy.
Let's take the break.
Listen, if you're on hold, never done that before. If you're on hold, stand by. I'll give you the number for Sloman's when we get back. If you want to call us, though, I know that number by heart. It's 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you are listening. And, of course, this is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. We'll take our break, and I'll give you the number on the other side right after this. How did that happen? Now I find it. Okay.
What?
Hold on, Steve. Hold on. If you're on hold, hang in there. Okay. Steve, are you there?
I'm here. I want to do next hour. I want to do a Wings Plus.
Okay. I dropped all my copy. I can't find what. Okay, here we go. Okay, 30 seconds. All right, we are back. The third hour has begun. Calls on hold, stand by. I'm Brian. Steve Kane's here. The number from Sloman, I found it as soon as I said after this. The toll-free number for Sloman's is 833-283-5050, 833-283-5050. Give them a call, all right? Ask them about that Shield link. Okay, you want to go back to the phones, or did you have somewhere you wanted to go?
Let's do phones.
Okay, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'll look up her number.
You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Hello?
JK from Delray.
All right, Delray.
How you doing?
All right.
Yeah, I was just calling about that last caller, and he was talking about the prices going up or down, and you guys asked him about the taxes in New York, and he says he has no control of that. Well, they do. It's who they vote for, and that's all I wanted to say.
Well, you made a good point. All right. I like a caller that knows when they're out of material, and he's right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, good morning. This is Alan from Kansas City, Missouri. I spoke to you a couple of weeks ago.
Hey, Al.
Yeah. Hey, Steve, how you doing? Yeah.
Good.
Hey, I just wanted to mention about the violence in Chicago, if you don't mind. Because I used to live there. I know that I told you I lived in Samoa because that's where my dad's from. But anyways, when I got divorced in Fort Myers, I went to Chi-Town, lived there, and I was working for BNSF Railways in Cicero. I don't know if you're familiar with that area, just the suburbs of Chicago, right off the Cicero Avenue. Anyways, I took my buddy Jose out for his birthday at a local bar. We haven't been there for about 6 years, changed completely. We got in a little scuffle with some illegal aliens. Luckily, Jose had his van. He went home after 2 hours later. I went home, but it's a one-way street, and I was in Cicero. And I parked in my driveway. The van pulls up, and sure enough, they try to shoot at me. Well, they shot at me.
Wow.
And luckily, yeah. And it came to find out.
Were trying to hijack your car?
No. I had a little scuffle at the bar because they took 4 quarters. You know how you put the quarters on the end of the bar?
You disrespected them. You disrespected them.
Oh, yeah, because I told them, they said, yeah, oh, so no problem, amigo, or no problem. And they walked away, and I said, amigo, hey, where's my quarter? Oh, man, no money. And then Jose, my buddy, says, Ellen, leave it alone. But unfortunately, me being part Samoan, I just got a little deterred and I confronted them. Well, luckily, like I said, Jose had his van. He went his way, and I went my way. And they followed me, apparently, because they pulled up on the side of the road behind my car, because I was trying to put my car in the garage on the side of the door, and I hit the garage door open, and it went out. And I saw the van, and I looked, because it was like 11 o'clock at night, and sure enough, boom, 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 boom. Luckily, I hit the garage door, and it went down. But anyways, the thing was, the officers, Cicero Police Department showed up, and they said never go to that bar because it's filled with just gangbangers, which right now, of course, we knew afterwards, of course.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just want to say this is the reason why I love Chicago, and it's because I was there.
I was talking. I was talking to a guy the other day who he works at one of our sponsors, and he's from Illinois, and he's black, and he's a big guy, right? He says he doesn't go to Chicago.
No,
he doesn't go.
I left there in 2014. And in 2014, I left, and I will never go back there again.
But see, there's a lot. The thing about Chicago, the media, they want to portray it. It's black crime. Chicago, it's a lot what you said. It's a lot of Hispanic with the illegal gangs in Chicago, is what a lot of it is. A lot of it.
Yeah. Cicero, if you're familiar with the area, I was at that time living in Cicero, and then it got just taken over by gangs, so I moved to Oak Park.
But here's the thing, I was shocked when they cracked down on the crime in D.C. There was no resistance from the criminals. I don't know. Do you think Chicago, though, these guys in Chicago are animals? These gangs, these are real gangsters. Are they just going?
They're not looking to take on armed military trained people.
I don't. What do you think, caller, about Chicago? I don't know about that. It's unknown.
They want to pick their fights with old ladies.
Yeah. They always take the weakest people.
Oh, so you don't think the gangbangers will resist ICE and the Army? You think it'll be nonviolent?
Oh shoot, no! They get the National Guard and everyone else. They will definitely put them in their place. I mean, that's what they need. A lot of people have been desensitized. Is that the right term? Because they've just seen it all the time, so they just got used to it. I just, I didn't because I wasn't born there.
Well, listen, I appreciate the call. It's good to hear from you.
I appreciate it.
All right,
Nice
take care.
To you guys.
Take care. Yep. He just moved from America, Samoa. But so what I mean though, Steve,
you cut him off in a mid-compliment.
Oh, I'm sorry. I know that other beat. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. Do you think I meant to interrupt a compliment? I mean, come on. But this is something to think about, okay? There was zero resistance in D.C., zero. These gangbangers in Chicago are there's a lot of these MS-13 Trenda guys there, you know? And you don't think they'll fire on the with the National Guard there? You think it'll be nonviolent? Steve?
I don't know.
Because what I'm wondering is, if they fire on ICE and the National Guard and they fire back and take down one of them, what would be the reaction with the media if the National Guard has to take down a gangbanger in Chicago and he happens to be 15?
They would side with the gangbanger and make him out to be a victim.
They'll try to make it a Kent State.
Of course.
Yeah, that's exactly what they'll do.
That's what they do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, the Democrats, the governor and the mayor, what they're doing is egging on these people to resist. They're telling them that they have a right to do crime in Chicago, and when the feds come in, their rights are being violated. So what they're doing, the mayor and the governor in Illinois, they are inciting a possible incident. They really are. What they're doing is so reckless. The mayor said that,
but the good news is I've seen several Chicagoans, black Chicago folks, who basically are very outspoken against the corruption of the Chicago administration, and speak out and try to organize the neighbors on the right side of the issue. And they can always find a camera at Fox. So you're getting more of a balanced picture than you would ordinarily.
But Chicago, did they film Candyman in Chicago or Detroit? Does anyone remember Candyman?
I'd only be guessing if I said yes.
The reason I ask, D.C. is different than Chicago.
What was the name of the community?
I can't remember. The reason I ask, D.C. is different than Chicago. Chicago has those massive buildings, like in New York. They got buildings.
I'm trying to remember what they call them. It's a community.
Yeah.
It's a neighborhood they built.
Didn't it start with a G? I can't remember. Don't say Candyman 3 times, okay? In a row. But
anybody who remembers Candyman.
What? Yeah, was it?
If you remember the neighborhood, what do they call it? It's very famous.
See, these projects, like if you go to New York City, these projects, and in Chicago they have them. There are as many people that live in one of these buildings than live like in the whole city of Tamarack or something. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people. So cleaning up Chicago isn't the same thing as cleaning up D.C. You know what I mean? It's just a different type of city. So when ICE and the feds move in with the Chicago police taking the lead, with the National Guard in the rear, these gangbangers get holed up in these projects. It's just Cabrini Green. I knew there was a G in it. Cabrini Green. Cabrini Green. And didn't I tell you to have a G in it? I knew there was a G in it. Was that in Chicago? Does anybody know where that was?
Chicago.
I think
yes.
Yeah. So
my recollection that the Candyman and the follow-up movie.
Mm-hmm.
There were 2 of them.
Yeah.
Candyman 1 and Candyman 2.
I'm sure there was a 3.
Cabrini Green.
Yeah, Cabrini Green. I told you there was a G in it. I got a good memory. I remember her a lot. But anyway, these gangbangers run into these massive projects that they don't have in D.C. It's a whole nother thing. It could be, I agree with you. These guys are very cowardly, and you see the National Guard, which is the Army. You see the Army come in. That's pretty intimidating, and it's loud. And I agree that criminals are generally cowards, right? They don't want to take on tanks and Humvees, and they're not equipped with that and everything. So, there's a good chance it would be nonviolent. I got into football again this year for the first time in like 10 years.
Oh, you watched the game last night?
I'm not pro. My wife went to Florida State, so we watched Florida State last week. I missed the game last night, but I'll be back in the Sundays.
Oh, you didn't hear about Spitgate?
I heard a little bit about it. Yeah, Spitgate. Yeah, I heard a little bit about it. But I am definitely back into Florida State, and I like college ball, and it's hard for me to be in the football in Florida because we got the Dolphins, you know.
It used to be a good thing.
Yeah, not anymore. But when you talk about football season, of course, we're talking about Wings Plus in Coral Springs, and that's
our football hangout.
Yeah, and I'm just going to make a recommendation. Okay, this is me personally, what I do at Wings Plus, and Steve has his favorite order. I love Wings Plus, and I actually introduced Steve to Wings Plus. I was eating there for years before you went there, and you went there. You had one basket of wings, and the next day you came into the radio studio with a Wings Plus menu when we were doing spots for them. And they're good. Everything is homemade. Nothing comes out of a can, including all the delicious sauces.
You took some of mine just to taste it. You ended up eating the whole order.
I never had the lemon flavored wings before.
Lemon pepper. Oh,
the lemon pepper.
They have like 50 different varieties of wings. One more delicious than the next.
Plump,
juicy.
Yeah, and they're full of chicken. It's not like you go to these places. I've had wings everywhere, guys. Okay. And they have a little grizzle covered with a lot of breading. They call that chicken wings. There's no chicken. They're filled with chicken, okay, at Wings Plus. But here's, we all have our own little personal way of ordering, but I give you my recommendation, okay? If you go, today's Friday, if you go today, you get the 50 wing platter, or go Saturday or Sunday morning, okay, when they first open. Get the 50 wing platter. And ask them for the directions on how to heat them up in your oven at home, okay? And that's what I do, Steve, because then I got the 50 wing platter. It's just me and my wife. I got like 3 days of wings, but it's
a great place to watch games too, and
yes.
big crowds we get over there. And what you do is you call in before the game starts.
Yeah.
You put in your order to go for whoever many in your party. And at halftime, you go pick it up. They got it waiting for you. The biggest part of the wait is waiting for them to cook it, but you don't have to put yourself through that.
Yeah.
So it's easy in, easy out.
It's ready for you.
The greatest wings ever.
Yeah, and you can see Steve and I have different ways of ordering. I'll tell you another thing I do with the 50 wing platter, Steve. I get 2 different kinds of wings. 25 of one, 25 of the other. They split them up for me. They'll do that.
I'm getting hungry here.
Yeah, my favorite is the medium hot, followed by the lemon pepper that you introduced me to. And Steve's telling the truth. Steve and I, we were at Wings Plus. I never had the lemon pepper. You ordered a basket. I said, let me try one. I ate your whole basket.
Yes, you
did. It was good. I didn't even realize it. All right, guys. Wings Plus is in Coral Springs, about a mile west of University Drive on the south side of Sample Road. You can't miss it. We'll be right back. I made. Okay, about 30 seconds.
Okay.
All right, we're back. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. I'm Brian. Steve's here. It is Open MAGA Mike Friday. Open phones on Friday. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian.
Yes.
Hi, this is Donna. I'm in Chicago now.
Mm-hmm.
And I live in Coral Springs for the last 10 years. I met you and Steve twice. You used to call me Debbie.
Okay.
And I live in Coral Springs now. And I'd like to tell you about Chicago. We can talk.
Yeah, please.
Okay. You want to know about the attitudes and the resistance and things?
Yeah.
Chicago is nothing like Washington, D.C. Chicago is a very big city.
Mm-hmm.
South side, west side, where a lot of problems are, gangs are, a lot of people. And another thing, I want you to know that south side of Chicago is not all black, because I hear you say a lot of misconceptions on the radio show over the years. It's not all black. You have southeast side, you have southwest side. And the thing
the question is, what we were talking about before the break, and maybe you can give us some insight, because I agree with everything you said. But what in Washington, D.C., the criminals just gave up. But will these guys in Chicago fight the army, or will they wander off too? What'll happen?
I would not be surprised. It's possible, because for the most part, they're not, a lot of people want them here, the National Guard. A lot of people want help, black, whites, everyone want help here. But there's a large segment of people here, black, white, and a lot of Hispanics do not want them here. I came in last night. I'm here now because September is a very good time to be here. Beautiful weather here, better than in hot Florida now. But yes, I will not be surprised if, yes, there will be resistance. I will not be surprised that something could happen to the National Guards. I would not want President Trump to come here. I'd rather he go somewhere where he's welcome to go.
Why would you not want President Trump?
Because if you're not welcome here, let these people deal with this crazy Democratic governor and mayor. Let them change it. Okay, well then.
They're not going to change it. They're getting rich by it. Why would they change it?
Well, okay, but
they get all the government from the money and they pocket it.
Yeah, so why bring in the National Guard? Why risk people's lives and everything like that for Chicago? Chicago isn't Washington, D.C.
So the kids can go to school in the morning without getting shot.
No. The National Guard, from what I'm hearing, that Trump will probably put people, the National Guards, around the downtown areas, around the Bean, around Millennium Park, and those areas there. He will probably not come into the west side, into the hood areas like Inglewood, like Auburn, Gresham, his neighborhoods.
I'm a little confused. Okay, hold on a second, caller. And you're a nice lady, so I'm not gonna. And we've met and stuff and everything else, and I'm not gonna talk to you like these, because you're not one of these liberal lunatics. Okay, you're like a normal person. However, you're telling us that we should just let it be the Wild Wild West in Chicago. The government there is not functioning.
There will be. Why go where you're not welcome? Let these people get enough of this mess here.
Enough.
Maybe they can vote
It's
them
been.
out.
They've been doing. This is how
Chicago's
been. This is how Chicago's been for 100 years.
Well, maybe so. Maybe from Al Capone days. We're the roughest, nastiest, dirtiest city there is in a nation. Maybe to the gangster days. Okay? But I'm saying, why put people's lives? I do believe there will be resistance met like never before.
Oh my goodness! You know who this? I think this is. I feel like I'm talking to Ma Barker on the line. This is crazy.
No, Brian, you want to know? You asking people? You asking the right person?
I hear you. I just hope When you say where you're not wanted, you're telling me that the law-abiding citizens don't want the crime to be stopped?
Yes, I didn't say that.
Crazy.
I didn't say that. Yes, they do. Business owners, people, black, white, yes, they do. But Chicago is too big and too vast
for the Army. For the Army.
Thank you.
For the Army.
Too many areas. It's too big for the Army.
The U.S. Army can't take Chicago. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
All right.
Why do
we appreciate
you
your
got
insight.
Memphis, you got Memphis,
appreciate the call. I got to tell you that's a strange call, Steve. What do you make of that lady?
It's a little different.
What do you make of that? She's passionate.
Well, I think she probably speaks for a lot of people in Chicago.
Well, I'll tell you, it reminds me of that call. You and I talked about this call a couple weeks ago. Many years ago, we had the Broward County Sheriff in studio. It was Al Lamberti. He was the sheriff. And he, a black lady from Pompano called in and said, you going to tell your deputies to leave our boys alone? And he's like, those are criminals, and we're not, we're
I remember that.
And there's a lot of people in certain communities. I'm not talking racial. I'm talking about in high crime areas that I guess are on the side of the criminals. They view the criminals as their family, I guess. I don't know. That's one of the strangest calls. Hold on. Steve, that's one of the strangest calls we've gotten. That's crazy. All right. You want to take some more calls?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. By the way, I want to tell people that you can listen to us on iHeartRadio. iHeartRadio was down a little bit the other day. It's back up and running. I was just listening during the break. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
How you doing, Brian? This is Angeles Antonio, and how you doing, Steve? Good morning.
Hey.
Hey, Antonio.
Hey, look at this. I'm born and bred Chicago, Illinois. Listen. We are begging Trump to come down there. Our president, our greatest president ever lived. Don't listen to this woman. This woman is just stuck back in the 60s and those times of days where the blacks were just so ignorant and dumb and stupid. And all they see is everything evil, everything dumb, everything just misled. Listen, let Donald Trump come into this town and fix it. Let him come. We are waiting for it.
You know what I think part of it is. I think sometimes people, they get like institutionalized, like guys that do.
That's what she is.
Yeah, she's been in this high crime Chicago, and that's what she's comfortable with.
And everybody.
I'd like to ask the caller, what do you think of Donald Trump? Are you a fan of him?
I respect Donald Trump. Remember Donald Trump, he went to pardon me, but I messed it up. I'm the one that did the hats and everything.
Yeah.
I believe in this man. I respect this man. I've met him years ago, and everything that he's doing is a great thing. Let him save this country. Let him save Chicago.
Can I ask you a question? Let me ask you a question. You received a pardon from President Trump. Do you have like a document that he signed for your pardon? Is that
No. He went to pardon me. But remember, I beat the dude up and crushed this dude, this rat by the name of Rat Porter. I beat him up, bit his hand.
Oh, you didn't get it? You didn't get the pardon. You were going to and didn't?
No, I didn't get it because I got locked up and they lied on me and everything.
Oh, they lied on you. Hey, listen, Antonio, I got to run for the break, but okay, appreciate the call. You never know. We've got a
Sounds like an interesting story.
Yeah, it is, but we're late for the break. I want to just tell you quickly about Coastal Weight Loss Secret. I've been telling you guys about this. My blood pressure is normal for the first time, Steve, in about 25 years. It's because of all this weight I've lost. My wife was admiring my flat stomach the other day. I was changing clothes, and she says, "Brian, that's what your stomach looked like when we got married." This is amazing. And my results are typical. Remember, I didn't do any exercise, none. I didn't take any prescription pills, no shots or any of that. And I also Didn't starve myself, and I ate foods I would normally eat. Give Coastal Weight Loss Secret a call. It works. I'm living proof. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightlossecret.com. We'll be right back. I'm going to put you on hold for a minute, Steve. Hold on. This is amazing. Hear the delay. I'm still on. And my results are typical. Remember, I didn't do any exercise. None. Hear how long the delay is? I'm still talking. No shots or any of that. And I also didn't starve myself, and I ate foods I would normally eat. Give Coastal Weight Loss Secret a call. It works. I'm living proof. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightlossecret.com. We'll be right back.
Making morning radio great again. I think you're going to really love it. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Yeah, sounds good. The delay's long, isn't it? You hear when I hit the dump button when people use profile, you can hear how long the delay is. It's like I'm in a time machine. I am in the future. You know, the YouTube delay is about 10 seconds. So yes, I am in the future. It's crazy. That's why you don't hear me give the timeout too much. Because of the delay. It'll always be wrong to people listening. Now, don't forget, when I sign off at 9 on the radio, hang in there because I'm going to continue with the after show, okay? Okay, you there, Steve? Steve? Steve?
Hello?
Yeah, okay, gotcha, okay. Hold on, stand by. We just got a few sec. Oh,
okay.
1 minute. We got 1 minute.
Okay.
That lady caller. I mean, my goodness.
She's a good caller.
Yeah, she's a great caller, but she likes the crime. Do you know the Ma Barker shootout was in Florida?
No, I did not know that.
Yeah, you can take tours of the house. They still have bullet holes in the walls from the FBI. I saw someone. I did not know it was in Florida. Okay, 30 seconds.
Toppers, pet beds. It's free shipping on all orders. $100.
The delay is so long.
That was a great movie, Candyman.
Mm-hmm. Tony Todd. All right, we're back. I'm Brian. Steve Kane's here. Yeah, Tony Todd and Candyman. He died a while back. Yeah, he died.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, I know him because he was in Star Trek. He played a Klingon in Star Trek. Oh. Yeah. Star Trek The Next Generation. He was Worf's brother in Star Trek The Next Generation. Yeah, Tony Todd. All right, our number is 888-465-2631. I want to say, Steve, I've been doing the early show. I started at 5:20 a.m. today, the show. Online.
Oh, boy.
I know. I told Steve I expanded the show to 4 hours. And this is the third week I've been doing it. And I start at like 20 after 5. And then I go until even after 9 o'clock. And so I've been taking calls since 5:30 this morning. And the calls today have been not that guy that I'm not talking about the guy that threatened me. Okay, and I'm not talking about that one guy I had to dump. But other than those two, we have had really good callers with opposing viewpoints. That lady that called in that wants the crime to continue in Chicago. There was a guy that called, Steve, before the radio show went live at about 5:45. He was a liberal guy from Seattle, Washington, and hates everything, great discussion we had. We went through everything. He was very upset that we took out the drug traffickers in the boat. We had a great conversation. And I enjoy, Steve and I love to talk to people that disagree with us. And when you can do it without profanity and screaming and taking turns and having a conversation, it's much more interesting, isn't it?
But screaming is not all bad.
Yeah, I know. I'm not telling you not to scream and call us names.
What's a show without a little screaming?
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Do you remember your first death threat, Steve? I
remember it well.
It's amazing. Oh my goodness! It's so weird because that guy that threatened me today, I don't even hear it half the time. You get so used to it, and sometimes people will say to me, "How can you put up with that?" I'm like, "Put up with what?" That guy, he said you're gonna die. I was like, "Oh well, just another day at the office." Let's go back to the phones. Let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Steve and Brian. It's JJ from Mass.
Hey, JJ.
JJ, how are you?
Yeah, JJ calls me on the after show sometimes.
Yes, I do. Yep, I like you do you do 30-40 and then another 30-40 like afterwards. It's
yeah.
It also helps a lot of the people that have been hanging on that because like today I tried to call into the show and it's so busy because it's such a success. It was hard to get through.
I know.
So it's good that you spend that extra time.
And don't forget my afternoon show either. If you guys follow me on YouTube, I do the afternoon show where I take live calls too. Don't miss on that Brian Craig Show on YouTube. A lot of self-promotion from me today, but what the heck?
Why not? I think it's good. I think it's might as well. I'd say look, so many problems in the Democrat Party, so many problems with people. I mean, it's like 99 problems, and the B is actually a +1 for 100% problems for these Democrats.
Can I ask you a question? We talk about trouble in the Democratic Party. Do you think they're? Do you think? Let me put it this way. What do you think would happen if, in fact, Donald decides to interject himself into this New York mayoral race and
supports Mamdani
and supports Mamdani?
Oh.
Well, you know what? I tell you what, Steve. I don't think he's going to do that. I really don't.
Well, but if he did, what do you think the reaction would be?
If he did, what would the reaction be? I quite frankly, I heard Barbara, and that made me think a little bit. But I really don't think getting rid of him. I think there's a lot of people. Trump has overwhelming support throughout the country. So maybe in New York City they might go a little crazy. But I don't think it would be that huge of a deal because the guy only got a few votes from Democrats in the primary. I mean, this guy is like a cold snake. He's in everybody's house.
You know what the Democrats would turn that into?
Yeah, but it would turn into nothing. You can't make a house of cards out of nothing at all. I mean, this guy is. I don't think it'll turn into anything. I mean, the problems for me are like
Teflon.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to make any difference at all. I mean, they got problems everywhere, Steve. The goose gander gerrymander problem that they have. The Democrat rules, they don't like what's
he got.
Good for the
Okay,
goose,
he got. I just looked it up. Okay, he got 573,000 votes, over 500,000 votes in the primary.
And what was the percentage? It was a very low turnout, supposedly.
It was a low turnout.
Always,
he got 56.4% of the vote, and Cuomo got 43.6%. So he got 10. So it wasn't.
That's not my concern. My concern is if he did that, he's playing into this last straw, desperate strategy they've got of trying to convince everybody that he's a dictator and. Mussolini type, a Hitler type, and I think that would give them material to play into that. And I think it would. I don't know. That's I guess what I'm asking.
I think Trump may let that fly to drive people crazy. But the best case scenario, the thing that I see that is most likely to happen, that actually makes logical sense, is that Trump. I mean, you think about Adams. He's not going to win, whether he knows it or not. He's not going to win. But so does he want to go down in flames, or does he want to have? Does he want to be a team player and get a job with the big guy?
See,
listen. Does he want that guarantee?
With Mamdani, let me give you an example, okay, of something with Mamdani. And picking him up today off the street would be different than if something was revealed. I give you an example. If I was interviewing Mamdani, I would walk him down a garden path, and this is where, he has not condemned the Intifada, right? You've heard this?
Correct.
Okay,
Yep.
but no one's asked him the key question. 9/11 was part of the Intifada. No one's asked him about 9/11, and I don't think he'd condemn 9/11 if he were asked. I don't think he'd do it. Just like I don't think he can do it. If something,
I would like to see that asked.
that would turn.
Yes, it would be.
If he was asked to condemn, 9/11 was part of the second Intifada. Okay. If they asked him to condemn 9/11, you got to do it in the right way with the Intifada and all that stuff. But if he didn't do it in an interview, did not condemn 9/11 and refused to do it, that's one of those things that that would turn the public against him.
Yeah.
Big time.
And Steve, do you think, Steve, that it's more likely that Trump would offer Adams a job, security for Adams with the big guy, and also Silva a job, and then they're both out of the way, but they've got prestigious jobs. They're on the team, and then Cuomo, obviously not the best choice, but when you're dealing with when you're dealing with Zoe, a homeless person is a better choice.
Yeah.
So
you're right.
I mean, do you think that's more likely, Steve, that would happen? Because I just don't see him I don't see him picking this guy up. And quite honestly, if he did, I really don't think it would be that. I think the Democrats would go crazy. But big deal. The Democrats go crazy every day. That's just like another.
I'm not looking to make them converts at this point.
No, I wouldn't make. I'm confident that Trump and Cuomo could beat Mamdani in a two-way race.
I think that's what's going to happen. I mean, I hope that happens. But listen, there's the Democrat Party is on such a. There's nothing.
But even though Mamdani beat him,
Party.
Mamdani beat Cuomo because Cuomo didn't really run. He just was arrogant, took it for granted, didn't do much, and just assumed that he was famous enough to win. He wasn't campaigning, nothing. So, and they.
What was the politician that happened to that thought he was? Yeah, some of these guys, they live in another land, and the people around them just yes them to death and tell them everything they want to hear. And I can't think of the politician that happened to, but it was like a number 2 or number 3. Was it in the Republican Party or somebody? I can't.
I'm not sure which one you're talking about. It does sound familiar, but it does happen. Yeah. All right, listen, I appreciate the call. But you make some good points. Okay, take care. I agree with everything that you said. Let's take one more call, Steve. What the heck? It's Friday. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian from Deerfield.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, Brian. Hi, Steve. How are you today? Well, Steve, I think we're seeing a very interesting psychological profiling going on. When I was listening to the caller from Chicago, they say when people are sentenced to, say, a prison stretch and they become institutionalized within the prison.
That's what I said.
It almost sounds like, we have millions of people who have become institutionalized within the confines of the city.
Yeah.
Where they adapt their lives. I think they still think they're free, but if you look at them, they're confined to where they live. They can't go out. They can't do this. They can't do. Their freedoms are taken away. And we're seeing these institutionalization of our fellow citizens in all these big cities everywhere throughout the country.
The problem they have in cities like Chicago is a couple of things. One, the bad guys have no fear of arrest and prosecution.
Yeah.
Okay, that's one.
Yeah.
Okay. And the second problem is a lot of them have been raised in, you talk about they've been institutionalized in a life of crime. And they don't even realize that what they're doing is wrong. They're so far gone.
It's an interesting psychological phenomena going on that big of a basis. We were talking millions of people within the city all feeling the same thing.
That woman is definitely institutionalized. She's it's like those guys. You know what it's like? It's like like those guys you hear about that get out of prison and then they reoffend so they can go back because they can't. We had a guy. I don't know if you remember this guy, Steve. This guy, he was Convicts for Christ, and he had done 20 years. He was a hitman. He did 20 years in Belglade, in the penitentiary there, which was that was a work farm like out of Brubaker. It's a really bad place. And he said when you get out of prison, he says when you're in prison, they tell you when to get up, when to sit down, how to put your socks on, which one to put on first, how to button your shirt. And you do that for 20 or 30 years. You can't do that on your own. So guys want to go back. That lady doesn't want to be in a crime-free Chicago. That's where she's comfortable.
But you know what happens when we have a president comes in and actually, literally, is freeing these people from their institutionalization, and they get a taste of true freedom. What it is to be able to walk around free without being worried about getting shot or beat up. You go out for dinner, things like that. I think they changed their mindset fairly quickly, but we've never had a president that did that before.
It's happening now. Hey, listen, we got to run, but appreciate the call.
Okay,
now,
guys,
I want to tell you guys about Jupiter Joe Thomas. Now, you guys heard me talk so many times. You know, with Jupiter Joe Thomas and annuities, your money is never at risk, and you're guaranteed an income stream for the rest of your life. And there's incredible benefits like this income doubler for medical health issues. You or your spouse have a medical issue. Your monthly income from your annuity is doubled. It's crazy. The signing bonuses that as little as 10%, some of even higher, you make 10% or even more on your money before you even leave the office. It's amazing. There's all kinds of great benefits. And Joe Thomas offers free consultations. If you're local, you can take advantage of that no-charge consultation in office. But if you're not local, you can do it over the phone or through Zoom. And every once in a while, I like to explain to you guys the value of the free consultation you're getting with Joe Thomas. He's been in the retirement planning business for over 30 years, but he's a 5-time qualifying member of the $1 Million Roundtable, which is achieved by fewer than 1% of all financial advisors in the world. So you're getting a free consultation with a top man in the top 1%. He's high, amazing. Less than the top 1%. I mean, that's amazing. Top guy, you get a free consultation. And after you get a free consultation with the top man in the industry, he's going to put together a custom proposal for you based on your situation. Give him a call, 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. And if you missed the number, go to his website. It's easy to remember, jupiterjoe.com. jupiterjoe.com. We'll be right back. All right, I'm going to put you on hold and get William, Steve. Hold on. All right, we are back. Are you back with us, Steve? Oh, hold on a second here. I have lost everyone. Hold on. I've got William. Hold on. All right.
Press 1 for more options.
Okay, I've lost that one. All right, Steve, are you back with us? All right, I lost Steve, but I'll take some more of these calls. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
What's up, Brian?
No.
Good morning, everyone.
Yep.
Hola. I'm here with my illegal girlfriend, the one that doesn't exist.
Okay.
Just had a baby, 3 weeks old.
Congratulations.
Looks just like me. He looks just like a little truck. I'm so happy that we're getting into this no more vaccine stuff.
Okay, I appreciate the call. All right. I tell you, there's a strange callers today, I must tell you. But hey, that's life in the fast lane. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. I'm trying to get William Youngerman, but I'm not able to get him today while we're on the air, so I may have to do the report myself. If you're on hold, hang in there. Our number is 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call. no matter where you're listening. And we only have a few minutes left, but it is Open MAGA Mike Friday. All right, I'm not able to get... Hey there, hold it, okay. All right, I'm not able to... Okay, we are back with you. Yeah, I got you, Steve. Let me give out... I wasn't able to get William on the line, but I'm going to give out his number. If you want to give William Youngman a call, it's toll-free, 1-800-327-5010, 1-800-327-5010. Or you can stop in at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto. And online, WilliamYoungerman.com. I'll try him a couple more times before the end of the show, but doesn't seem to be working out. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Michigan.
Hey, Michigan.
So many topics, so little time. Let's choose just one. Let
me put you on. Let me put you on hold for a minute while I'm doing all this. So you hang in there. I got to try one more time, and then if I can't, then we'll get back to Michigan and all of his great and arrogant questions. But sometimes I'm dying to get the gold report today because I want to hear the results. No, that's not working. Okay, all right, go ahead, Michigan.
Hello, Brian.
Yep, go ahead with your questions.
Okay, how do you feel about the fact that Elon Musk is now going to fund the women who were abused by sexual predator Jeffrey Epstein and your orange paper?
I'm no interest in talking about Jeffrey Epstein.
You have no interest in talking about that?
No.
Okay, let's talk about where Donald Trump's money originally came from.
I'm not interested in that either. I'm not interested in that either.
No, you don't want to you're not talking about that?
No.
Oh, here. Let's pick a subject that you are comfortable with. Alligator Alcatraz.
No, I'm not interested.
See, right?
there's a theme.
You want to talk about Alligator Alcatraz, Brian?
There's a theme here.
Hey, Brian, let's talk about Alligator Alcatraz. Why are you interrupting me? Are you going to start insulting me, call me stupid again?
There's a theme here.
There's a theme here.
I'm not interested in
You're sucking Donald Trump.
Okay, there we go. Boom, just in time. I knew it was coming. All right. You're on the air. We didn't even have to dump it. I caught it before he got to it. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Rob from Illinois.
Hey, Rob.
Oh, okay. So just getting back to the response about Chicago, Cabrini Green got raised years ago. It's been torn down for many, many years because it was valuable property up in the Gold Coast.
Yeah, I know
area.
about all that. Yeah.
And
I know.
Okay. The bad projects are about by Kaminsky Park down there, down on the south side, and the lady had some semblance of making sense. I mean, here's what I guess the plan is going to put the soldiers in the better areas to make sure that they're safe, and then let the police go down to the bad areas where they know the bad guys, and hopefully they can take care of.
Well, the question is, will they resist the army and the feds coming in, or will it be like D.C. where they're cowardly and won't resist? That's the question.
That's a heck of a question. I couldn't answer that.
But they're already making moves in Chicago. They're putting up walls in front of the governmental center and things like this. So the government's mobilizing.
You know, but Pritzker just didn't even. When I listened to him the other day, and I just moved here in April. This is my hometown and retired. He didn't even express anything about the black on black crime. All he talked about was the immigrants getting deported by ICE.
Yeah.
That's all he talked about.
Yeah. Because the reason it wasn't that he wasn't talking about African Americans. I say African Americans because, like all Democrats, they don't care about Americans. They care about South Americans.
I live downstate, and it's pretty conservative and pretty safe. You know, you don't go in some areas in my hometown, but I don't go out at night anyway.
Well, maybe you'll be able to go out at night after Trump's done. All right, I appreciate the call. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Patrice from Lake Clark Shores.
Okay.
I'm talking about Ukraine. The French President Macron announced that he's going to send 10,000 troops to Ukraine, and the French hospital be ready to treat wounded soldiers before March 2026. And England is sending also troops, and perhaps Germany also will send troops. Okay?
Yeah. Okay.
That's it.
Okay. All right. Appreciate the call. Okay. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Lynn from Boynton.
Hey, Lynn.
Hey, good morning. Well, you know, I was just watching the news here at home, and speaking of Chicago, there was a big thing saying how Chicago itself relies on all the wealthy people that live there, and that 56,000 people have left Chicago since 2023 to 2024.
Wow.
And and now the mayor just made a statement that he wants to start the corporate head tax to get it revived again.
Wow.
There.
Wow.
Now he's got all these problems going on, and I think that's something he should just put it to the side and take care of what is going on with the people,
Yep.
And it's I'm not really a fan of Chicago anyway. And when I'm hearing these calls come in, I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, this is really everywhere in the country, though.
It is.
Not just Chicago.
Yeah, but Chicago's the at least where the attention is and lots of crime. And if they rid Chicago of crime, the other cities will be cakewalks after that, because if they could take Chicago back from the criminals, they could take anywhere. Hey, listen, I got to run, but I appreciate the call. If you're on hold, stand by. Here we are. It's Friday, which means it's the beginning of the weekend. And yeah, that's right. And you don't want to start the weekend living in pain. If you're in pain, go see Dr. Appleton. I told you guys that he's rid me of pain 7 times, okay? All right, I got Steve back. All right, hey, Steve, I got you back. I'm in the middle of a spot, though.
Okay, you with William?
Yeah, no, we'll talk later. But I got
Give me a capsule of the...
I'm in the middle of talking about... I'll have to do that later. I'm in the middle of another spot, Steve, and we're running short on time. But you don't want to start the weekend in pain. Go see Dr. Appleton. Appointments are not necessary. Walk-ins are welcome, even on Saturdays. Most of the time when I go see Dr. Appleton, it's on Saturdays. Although he's rid me of pain 7 times, I want to talk about the arthritis. The arthritis was the worst pain I've ever experienced. I can't even describe it. But if you're suffering from it, you know what I mean. It's arthritis should be a disability, okay? It should be a disability. It's that bad. And he rid me of my arthritis pain over a year ago, and it has not returned. Without any drugs, no shots, no injections, just his laser treatment. I've met and talked to several listeners who have also been made pain-free from Dr. Appleton from their arthritis pain. Give him a call. Works on every type of pain I've ever heard of as well, the laser treatment. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonCairo.com. All right, I'm going to go back to our phones. They're ringing off the hook. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Bruce from Lake Worth.
Hey, Bruce.
Hey. My boss, he was first in line for the shot, and he got COVID, and he ended up in the hospital, and he didn't come out alive. So I just want to tell Richie what kind of a cold this is. I got COVID, and it dehydrated me so badly.
Well, listen. I know it's open phones, but I'm not interested in hearing people's COVID experience. I know it sucks. Okay, I know. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning. It's James from Boca.
Hey, James.
Hey, guys. Good morning, everybody. I lived in Chicago from 2000 to 2009, and I moved down here in 2009. And the reason I left was because Obama was elected, and you couldn't live there. But the black people were screaming reparations every day, or African Americans screaming reparations every day. And then the murders that you see now were just about as bad as they are now as they were then. There was 3 to 7 people killed every night, 12 to 14 stabbed, shot, raped, whatever. And this should have happened 20 years ago in Chicago.
Well, it's happening now. And the government,
And God bless.
we're almost out of time, but there was video in the news of the feds putting walls up in front of the governmental center last night in Chicago. So they're getting ready to make a move. It'll probably at first be an ICE move, I would guess. There's so many illegal gang members in Chicago. And that'll be the way it is. All right, well, we're winding down. That's it. The show has flown by. You're listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. Celebrating 49 years on the radio. I'm Brian Craig. Steve Kane, of course, has been here. We'll be back Monday morning at 6 a.m. And as always, I promise you, it'll be a big news weekend, because every weekend that Trump's in office is a big news weekend, including that Pentagon thing today. We'll see you. All right. Do you want to continue, Steve, or you want to go?
Hello?
Yep. I was going to continue, do a little bit more. Do you want to continue, or do you want to...
I'll go with you. I'll stay with you, and then I want to talk after.
Yeah, okay. Well, it's, you know, we had some technical issues. What can you do? We're live. It happens. There's a couple things going on here today. They are putting up the walls in front of the governmental center in Chicago. So the federal buildings. So that means they're getting ready to make a move. And my guess is it's going to be with ICE, because there's a lot of illegal gang members in Chicago, you know. So that'll be the first roundup, will be the ICE raids, is what my guess would be. But they're not putting the walls up in front of the governmental center for no reason. They're expecting something, right? Looks like it. Have you seen any of that video, Steve?
No.
Yeah, they're like glass walls. They're like transparent. I've never quite seen that before. Yeah, they don't seem...
Well, break out the popcorn. Sounds like it's going to be a long weekend.
And, yeah, especially if you're in Chicago, I'd get out. But I mean, if they go after with the ICE raids first and take down the illegals, that would probably be the safest way to go in. But President Trump said the other day, it's not a matter of when or if, it's we are going in. He says, I'm going in. He said that the other day. Now today, I tell you, the tiniest things trigger the left. Today, he's going to rename the Department of Defense back to the War Department, you know, and watch how they have the liberal meltdowns over it. But there's something big dropped yesterday that has not gotten any publicity to speak of. And President Trump...
They saved it for us.
Yeah. President Trump referenced it. And I didn't bring it up on the show earlier. I wanted to bring it up now. They have been doing behind closed door interviews. I wish it was on television, but it's been behind closed doors of the people from the Biden White House. They have been singing like canaries about the auto pen. And there was one witness, a woman, who was signing pardons herself with the auto pen without any supervision. Yeah. So, you know, when they're under oath, they don't want to perjure themselves. Right? They don't want to perjure themselves.
They can help it.
Exactly. So they've been telling the truth. So yesterday, when President Trump was signing some orders, he was talking about the auto pen pardons. That wasn't just out of the blue. It was because of this closed door testimony that's been going on, because he's been getting briefed on it. And she had signed, like, I don't know, Steve, half a dozen or so pardons in a room by herself with the auto pen. Yeah. And so this talk of, and who knows how those people got chosen to be pardoned. It could have been her friends. Who knows? But this talk of invalidating pardons is not a joke.
Well, but they're not talking about Hunter or the immediate family, I'm sure.
Biden personally did sign Hunter's pardon. That was not an auto pen. He signed that one himself. That, you know, the signature is even different. So he did, and they have witnesses. So that one was an auto pen, Hunter's. Hunter's was, which tells you he knew that what he was doing wouldn't necessarily, but he didn't care about these other people. He cares about Hunter. But the throwing out these pardons is not just some punchline. It very well could happen. And there's a lot of people that have gotten pardons that are bad. The whole January 6th committee, right?
Mhm.
You know, Schiff.
Yeah.
All these others. There's a whole bunch of people that got pardons that are really bad people that were done with the auto pen. Whether or not they invalidate them or not, who knows how that would hold up. But the things they've been testifying to is that Biden was not even briefed on who was being pardoned in a lot of these instances. You know, yeah. So what hasn't come out, which I think would be pretty interesting, is what was the process that these people got pardons, right? Did people get like paid personally for pardons? Did it go through the normal process? Because they're saying that Biden didn't even know who was being pardoned. So, you know, that's
your guess is as good as mine.
well, that stuff's coming out in this testimony, this behind closed door testimony, and it's it's a big story. And it burns me that they do in Congress that they do these things behind closed doors. I don't understand why this is not being done on television. You know, I mean, we control the Congress. We could force it on television. When they do them on television, it not just informs people. People get the urgency from it, right? It gets people worked up and like, hey, this is wrong. This is bad. You know, and all of that. All right, Steve, I'll give you a call in a little bit.
You got it.
All right, take care. Now, if you want to call in, you're welcome to do it. The number is pinned in the chat, 888-465-2631. I want to get to a few things that I didn't get to. This is actually one of them. This is actually a soundbite about this. Let me pull this up. This is a lady talking about the auto pen pardons. Listen.
So while the
Now, hold on. Let me get my headphones on. If you're new, by the way, make sure that you subscribe to the channel. And if you're subscribed, please like the video. That helps a lot. And if you could share the program link on all your socials, that would be great too. This woman here, she's talking about the closed door testimony about the auto pen pardons.
So while the left continues to have their clowns take your attention away from something that's important, here is something you need to know. The auto pen testimony has begun, and let's go over the details. First and foremost, the most concerning question: why are these testimonies done behind closed doors? We, the American people, deserve to know the truth also. But let's get into the details. This is absolutely wild. Testifying before the Oversight Committee, former Biden aide Neera Tanden admits she controlled the president's auto pen from October 2021 to May 2023, authorizing documents as Biden during the time when questioned about his mental fitness were growing. Pardons, executive order, official actions, all potentially signed by someone who wasn't the president. So who was running the show behind closed doors? So testimony with the House committee continues. But the real question is that, why are these testimonies done behind closed doors?
That's
the
right.
American people deserve to know the truth also. So why are they allowing to have these testimony behind closed doors? Who are they trying to protect, and why?
Yeah, that's exactly right. You know, and that one really burns me. All these hearings, they're almost always done behind closed doors. And if this woman's testimony, as an example, was on television as opposed to behind closed doors in the open, the country would be outraged. And we can't blame the Democrats because we control the Congress. So why do you think that these are not televised? The only thing I could think of is the swamp protecting the swamp. You know, that's it. Now, I did want to show this to you. I didn't do this on the radio show because it's a visual. I wanted to show it to you. Let me pull this up so I can find the picture. Let me pull this story up. This just blew me away. This is, and maybe you've seen this, the new shoulder patch for the Dearborn police in Arabic. You know, and at the time, in two different places. I don't know what it says, but it's in Arabic. And that's, you know, I was talking the other day. There's a football player who has his name on his jersey in Arabic, in the Arabic alphabet, whatever that is. You know, don't you guys see what's going on here? You know, this great replacement theory that Tucker used to talk about. It's being done in so many ways. I mean, since when do you have It's not, it's, a lot of people used to take issue with things being bilingual. Like you go to a lot of places and it's in English and Spanish, especially here. You go to Miami, you see that on public buildings and things all the time. Vote a key, you see that, when you go to vote. I don't know if they have that in your town, probably, and that's bad enough. But this is a whole new level. That's the shoulder patch for the Dearborn Heights Police Department in Arabic. I have no idea what it says. And, think about the process that has to take place for that to happen, right? You got to go through votes. It's got to be designed. They've got to be made. They're on uniforms. People are walking around with them. I mean, I can remember when police couldn't have tattoos. Police having tattoos is a new thing. It's a new thing, and there was reasons why they didn't have tattoos. Now so many people have tattoos. But I'm starting to see this more. You've got Zohan in New York, got the squad, this football player that has his name in Arabic on the back of his jersey, and then this in Dearborn. I mean, what would you think if you were, you got pulled over for a ticket in your town? Cop comes up to you and you see their shoulder patch and it's in Arabic. How would that make you feel? Make you feel like you lost your country. And and I know what the left will say, and what they'll say is, oh, it's big. No, it's the United States. And it's Michael Savage. He talks about borders, language, culture, right? You hear that all the time. We have a common language, a common culture. We're not against diversity. We don't mind, all that stuff. We're all in favor of diversity and everything else. But here's another picture of it where it's a little bigger. There you go. It's a little bigger here. Let me pull it up. I mean, there it is. It's a little bigger. I've never seen something quite like this. And I got to tell you, if I got pulled over for a ticket and the cop had that shoulder patch on, I would, first off, my first thought would be, well, wait a minute. Is this a real cop? I wouldn't think he was a real cop. But how has the culture changed in Dearborn Heights here for them to make such a drastic change? For that to get on a uniform without, we know about it now, and this is circulating online, and people are outraged. But it went through a very detailed process there, and no one thought twice about it, and it happened. No, it's not bigotry. I wouldn't want them to have shoulder patches in Spanish or French or Japanese either. The shoulder patches on a police officer's uniform should be in English. And I'm not opposed to having bilingual things out and about, but that's one where I say that's a little bit too far. Let me know what you guys think. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, hey, good morning, Brian. It's Joan from Tampa Bay.
Hey, Joan. Go ahead.
Didn't Trump sign an executive order that the official language of the United States of America is English?
That's right.
So
yes.
Why are they putting Arabic?
Because they don't follow the executive orders, and it's, and that's it. I mean, I find that scary. It's very disturbing, isn't it? And it could be in any language, and it would be wrong other than English, but...
There are Chinese Americans, there are Polish Americans, there are Irish Americans, there are Lithuanian Americans. Okay, so they'll have the thing down their arm with all these languages.
That's right.
French American.
Where I'm from in Ohio, there's a lot of Germans, right, in Ohio, and there's a whole section called Germantown, But the police uniform patches are not in German.
There you go.
Yeah, even in Miami, they're not in Spanish in Miami.
No, they're not.
Yeah.
No, they're not.
See, this is what's happening. We're being taken over. And and something like this, a lot of people will say, it's no big deal. Yeah, don't worry about. A lot of these things are the boiling the frog analogy. They do things. This might not even be on uniforms yet. They're proposing it. They do things to get people used to things, right?
It's the old saying, slowly they turn, step by step, inch by inch, all their way in there.
Yes. And then they make a move, and everybody's used to it, and it's not controversial. And they do it slowly and slowly. When the other day I had this story, there's a football, I can't remember if he was college or pro, but there was a football player. He had his name in Arabic on the back of his jersey. I couldn't believe. How does the announcer even read that?
Yeah, I heard about that.
Ah.
I mean, it's disgusting.
Mm-hmm. All right. Appreciate the call.
Language. We didn't have an official language before, but Trump signed it. America now has.
Well, we need it. We need it more than ever when you see things like this happening. All right. Appreciate the call. Thanks so much. Yeah, and guys, don't forget, over the weekend, I'm going to be on Saturday and Sunday. It'll be on twice a day. You can look, the exact time will depend on your time zone. So you can go look this up online. But I'll be on the Wendy Bell Show Saturday and Sunday. It'll be on Saturday and Sunday afternoon and Saturday and Sunday evening. So check your, go to the Newsmax website schedule or your channel guide on your cable. Find out when Wendy Bell's coming on, and you can DVR it or watch it live, and you'll see me on there. I've been on her show a few times, and I recorded it yesterday, and really good show. We covered a lot of really good topics. You'll enjoy it. And I'm going to be on another show too, but that one's going to be live, so I'll tell you about that one after. I don't. A lot of times I don't promote it before, but if you're watching, you might catch me live over the weekend. So keep an eye out for that. If you're new to the program, make sure you subscribe. Now, this is the third week. I expanded the show, and I've gotten great feedback from it, and I'm glad you guys are hanging out with me. I started, Monday through Friday, the radio show starts at 6, so I set up the YouTube live stream. I started up I scheduled it for 6 a.m. still, but I still come on early, and usually I come on about 5:20. So today I came on at 5:20. But when I do and I take calls. And we had some really good calls in those, the pre-show, the 40 minutes I did the pre-show before the radio show starts. But that's the new normal for the show. When I go to the radio station studio, I can't hang over because they gotta, I gotta clear out the studio for the next person, and it's a little harder to start earlier up there. But when I'm in my studio, I start early, I go long. And you can also make sure you catch me over the weekend, okay? So make sure you're subscribed and you've got the notification bell clicked so you get the notification when I go live, all right? My name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. I'll see you later today. Take care. Thanks for watching, everyone.